Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back, everybody, to the cafe. It's great to be back with you guys tonight. We are doing a true crime catch up, guys. A little bit about Stearns and a few other things. We have an update on a missing autistic boy out of Ohio. I appreciate you all joining me tonight. We are also running the open panel like we do, talking about these different things. So, thank you guys for joining me. Share this out. Please hit the like button as you come through the door. Share it everywhere you can and bring everybody on in here with us. Let's hang out and talk about these things, guys. I'm ready to do it. I don't know about y'all. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Again, at the cafe, I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your night to hang with me. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, tonight we're going to have an open panel and do a true crime catch up, basically, see what's going on in the world of true crime. A little bit about Stearns for sure, and some other scenarios going on. Mass shooting out of New Orleans, the update on Joshua O'Teef. Just a little bit of everything. So thank you guys for joining us tonight, and I appreciate you all so very much. Again, please make sure to hit the like button when you come through that door and share it out, guys. If you will, if you would, if you could, if you should. Thank you very much. Come on in, grab a seat, and get comfortable, folks. Welcome to the Blue Crew. Thank you all for being here. It is great to have you all here tonight. Come on in, folks. Let me see. Come on. Somebody told me I should do a birthday stream tomorrow for my birthday. I don't know. Caden wants me to too. I don't know what I would do. Maybe some music or something. I don't know, guys. It's let's see.
Pops.
Hold on, guys. All right. Sorry, my son was speaking to me. My apologies. Brian's in the house. Let's see what else we got in here while we're doing this. Brian, Bo Brian, Banana Pen. Anyway, no, we're not going to do that. Randy Fur, welcome back, brother. Walt Harris, hello, and welcome back, my friend. Good to see you tonight. Bonnie Bailey, always a pleasure. Alicia J, welcome back, dear. Doodlebug in the house. Everything must have worked out well. Good to see you, Doodle. Let me see here. Steven's Adventures, always a pleasure, sir. Sarah Tequila. Welcome back, Sarah. It's been a minute. Good to see you tonight. SRBBBBBBB. Good to see you tonight. Elizabeth Wagner, great to have you here. Tomboy was in the house before anybody. That was a wild one. Good to see you tonight, Tomboy. Always a pleasure. Walt Harris, Dago here. Brandy B, the OG. I'm gonna write a song. Taylor was stitching, bitching, and so much more. Well, welcome back, Taylor. Michael, the last 24. Sounds like a TV show, folks. But it is a new channel that we're gonna drop the link for and have everybody that hasn't subscribed to it yet subscribe to it so we can. Miss Darcy Miller, welcome back to you, ma'am. Good to see you tonight. Hope you're having a great night. Miss Emily, hello and welcome back, Emily. Wonderful to see you again. Well, that was very sweet of you. Says you have the best channel on YouTube. Best show on YouTube. I don't think that's true, but I appreciate you feeling that way, dear. That's so very awesome. Far Q's in the house. Welcome back, Far. Good to see you tonight. Where is... Good golly, there's the Molly. Good to see you, Molly. Thank you for seeing me. That Applebee song, Brian, really? Again, Randy's been back in the house every night now. I appreciate you, Randy. It's good to see you again, brother. Always enjoyed having you here. Again, guys, share this out if you would. And hit that like button coming through. We got 17 peeps in here, 18 likes. So we're getting there. Little by little, slowly but surely. We're getting there. Baby Shark song, Brian. I'm not going to sing the Baby Shark song to you, Brian. I'm sorry. I can't do that. So anyway, there's Doodle with her cake. So yeah, Caden said that. A couple other people. Somebody else asked me by email if I was doing that. I don't, guys. Did I have a birthday show last year for myself? Do you guys remember? I didn't think I did, but I don't know. I might. Open house Thursday with Dago Garabedian. Getting free gas. Hey, good for you. Anything free is awesome. I don't care what it is. Thank you, Brandy. There's the link for Mikey's channel. Please click on that link. Go check it out. Subscribe and like it. Please, if you will. Probably fuel, Brian. Can you guys hear me? Nobody answers me anymore. I just talk randomly and everybody just kind of talks around. I'm just sitting here rambling on and on. I should change the name of my show to Dago's Ramblings, like Brian's name. What do you guys think? Dago's Ramblings. Yes? No? Maybe? Maybe? I just come in and ramble for hours. Or wait, I already do that. So that wouldn't be any different. Good evening, Miss Charlotte. Good to see you. Sorry, guys. Itchy. John Garabedian. Oh, no, I was just messing with you guys about the not listening thing. I'm rambling. That's what I do is ramble. I do see it. You guys don't not talk to me. You talk to each other. You don't talk to me. What the hell? Walt, what number is that? Why are you putting 1-800 numbers in the chat, Walt? And without even putting a name to it. Easy. Don't yell at me, Alicia. Can always tell when she's going to yell at me when she puts dude before what she says to me. It's going to be I'm going to get lectured or a lashing. A tongue lashing. Elizabeth Wagner, good to see you. Oh, I'm not doing the whole weekend thing. I might do something tomorrow. That's the number 2 open house party. Where'd that number even come from, Walt? Did you just invent that out of nowhere? I didn't see. She's yelling at me now. She's yelling at me for saying she's yelling at me. At least it makes me nervous if nobody's noticed yet. I'll say something and I get nervous how she's going to react to me. Like that, I feel like it's going to come sometimes. So I'm careful. Thank you, SRB. Thank you, SRB. Appreciate that very much. Open house party. I don't know what the hell an open house party is, guys. I know what house parties were. We had those, but I don't know what an open house party is. No, I'm not making you seem horrible. See? That is not what I was doing. Open panel. Oh, is that what you're saying, Walt? Open panel party. Is that what you were trying to say? Or am I just a ding-dong and not figuring it out? I'm not worried about getting yelled at by you, Brandy. Really? Never heard of that. Open house party, huh? Interesting. Are you kidding me? Mama, you too? All right, y'all. Great show. Thank you for joining me. I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye. No, honestly, I never heard of the show. That's pretty wild. It sounds like it'd be fun. So you would call into the show. It was a radio show. You would call into the radio show, request songs. They would play the song you wanted, and it was just like a ongoing thing, huh? That's pretty wild. John Garabedian. Yeah, I don't know who it is. Never heard of it. That's wild. And as much as I was into music back in the day, you'd think I would kind of know. 90s, 2000s things. Huh. Well, you're a little bit younger than I am, Alicia, so maybe I missed it or something because of my age. What is it called again? Open house party. Okay, let's see. Let me see real quick here. I take it this is it right here.
30 seconds.
Doesn't the beat of it sound like Need You Tonight?
Yeah.
Except sped up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I like it. Like, In Excess is really good to dance to, and, sort of makes me wonder. You try to listen to the words and go, I wonder if it's a Suicide Blonde.
Where are you calling from?
Calgary, Alberta.
Calgary! Now let's leave it to everyone to vote for the next 3 minutes. Make it or break it. Open House Party, 800-6.
I do remember that. His voice. I couldn't hit the name John Garabedian. That didn't set it off for me, but his voice, yes, I remember his voice now. Gotcha. I get it. I can't remember where did we listen? I heard that on 95.9 W or no 95.9 Z96. That was called Z96, and they played like pop and hip hoppy stuff. It was a mixture of different things, but mostly like poppy stuff. We live to try. Call in and get a request played. Really? 98.5. Or maybe it was 98.9. Kiss FM. It was either 98.9 or 96 Z96. It was one of those two. Excuse me, but it was all pop music type stuff. So yeah, I didn't know that you could. I mean, I would listen to the music, but I remember hearing his voice, but I don't remember the call-in part of it. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. I'm old, folks. Jeez. Speaking of which, parents arrested for throwing open house party. How about that? Oof. 98.9 is the bear. 98.9 here is like what did they change 98.9 to? 98.9. It's kind of like 80s. I think it's 80s now. 98.9, yeah. I'm getting old, Randy, is what I mean. I'm struggling with the old thing, guys. I feel older than I actually am gonna be, and I've been thinking about the things I used to do when I was in my 20s and that I can't do anymore, and I miss those things, and it's one of them whole I wish I was young again and could fix the mistakes I made when I was young, all that kind of dumb crap. So I'll get over it. I always do. Mix 98.9. Yeah, and Mix 98.9. They do like an 80s mix. Now, John Cicada. Whoa. Easy, Walt. Don't get too weird now. 30 peeps in here. 27 likes, you guys. Rock and roll. I guess I can get some things rolling. First thing I want to do is give an update on I know it has nothing to do with what typically we talk about. It's what we ran through the morning show, but I'm going to stick on this one because it's a missing autistic child here in Ohio. That's, how we feel about that, folks. So I'm just going to give a quick update on the Westchester child that's missing. And then we'll move into what we're going to talk about. Hold on here. John Cicada. Are you going to load for me? My computer's not responding again. Sorry. Okay. I believe this is the press conference. This came up. It said 48 minutes ago, but I think it's from earlier. There's my doodle bug. Dang, this wood heat is about to put me to sleep. It will do that, especially if it smells good. All right, here we go.
Be prepared to be out in the elements, and of course you need a flashlight or something that will last a couple hours. So we will have those efforts start again at 1800 hours, and we hope to see a lot of people here. Additionally, Chief Rebholz and myself have visited with the family, and the family would like for us to express their sincere thanks and gratitude for the community effort, all the volunteers that have come out to try to help find their loved ones.
Welcome back, Cap. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, Rick. They just, obviously it's very difficult for the family. So for them to be able to give us a statement and let us know, about the support, obviously they see what's going on around them and they understand all that. But they're just tremendously grateful for the outpouring of support. The people, they said, we don't know any of these folks, and they all came out in their time of need. So an incredible message from the family. Yes, that's it.
Any questions?
What time do you guys think you might go till tonight?
Be prepared to be out in the elements, and of course you need a flashlight or something. Be prepared to be out
We only have
in
peeps.
the elements,
I don't
and
like
of course you need a flashlight or something to find their loved one.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, Rick. They just, obviously it's very difficult for the family. So for them to be able to give us a statement and let us know, about the support, obviously they see what's going on around them and they understand all that. But they're just tremendously grateful for the outpouring of support. The people, they said, we don't know any of these folks, and they all came out.
We need to keep her. She's our weather girl.
An incredible message from the family. Yes, that's it.
Any questions?
Thank you, Randy.
I think you might go till tonight. We go through the night.
Good questions. I think our civilian component will probably wrap up around 10, 11 o'clock. We will keep all of our public safety agencies on the ground, boots on the ground, searching throughout the night. And we will have another round starting here at the Mulhausen Barn again at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Are you asking for volunteers for that group?
Yes,
as well?
we are. Yes, we are.
Last night, you didn't have any surveillance video or ring video of Joshua since he got off the school bus. Has that changed today? Did you find any ring video?
No, we still don't have any ring video with him in it. No, ma'am.
What about from the school bus? Did you look at video from the school bus with him in it?
Yeah, we're pretty confident. As a matter of fact, just shoring up the description that was provided, so we got a confirmation and all of that. So the school's been fantastic.
What's the likelihood of the retention pond possibly being drained?
Don't know the answer to that question yet. Don't know. Maybe we'll look at China.
Oh, yeah, and if anybody, I think there was a question out there about an Amber Alert and whether or not an Amber Alert was provided. There was a missing persons alert that went out last night. The Amber Alert is for, for an abduction and things of that nature. So, and we just weren't there for that. But that the missing persons alert did go out last night. As a matter of fact, I had focused on a bunch of the folks that I came in contact with overnight. And a lot of those folks that I ran into came out as a result of that missing persons alert.
Does that go out just in township or regionally or countywide? Like, how does that?
Yeah, we can set that on a zone, and that was set out on a 4-mile radius. So it was, I can't remember the number. It was 600,000 or 800,000 phones that were actually hit by that.
Yeah, about 500,000 phones.
This search in these waters, you talk about how difficult it is, how murky those water it is. They're not huge, lakes or ponds or whatever, but what's your level of confidence once you get done with the sonar, the search, the divers? What's your level of confidence that you've cleared that lake and it's no longer a possibility of where he might be?
It's difficult to put a number on that, Brian. We trust in those crews and their knowledge and their expertise and their training, and especially the technology that they have. And when they tell us that pond or lake is clear, we take them at their value. But that doesn't mean we're not going to double check.
It's hard to get to
Potential
100%
check.
on something like that.
Correct. And that's why there's so much redundancy built into the plan to double back and double check and triple check these features.
Okay. Thank you very much, folks. Again, we appreciate it.
So I'll just check in WhatsApp.
That was really weak. So we know that they're still searching for him. They have. Oh, here's the rest of it. This is stupid. This is the beginning of it, you guys. I don't know why they did this.
Area. I can, however, reassure you that we are currently searching. The crews are out in the field, searching their respected areas in a grid pattern, and the lakes continue to be monitored and searched, and everybody is diligently working to find Josh. Unfortunately, that's all I have to share with you at this point. Brian?
All right, thanks, Rick. Just to follow up a little bit, earlier I spoke about the leads. Any leads that we get, we're following up on that. We have since received, notifications about.
Welcome, Dash. Good to see you tonight, brother. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a great night. And
but the fact of the matter is,
again, it's great to see you here.
To us, and we're sending folks out. They're leaving it in place because remember, too, that could be evidence for us. But they leave that in place, and we're sending crews out to go check those items. So, continue to, for those that are out helping us or anybody else that's checking their residences or around their businesses, if they see something, to give us a call. And that is, again, at that number, 513-777-2231, so we can track those leads down. As the chief said, we're still continuing to search the ponds and the grounds around the area. I will say that, we just request some respect for the family and the crews that are out there working to, just allow them the space to be able to operate and take care of the things that they need to do. Social media, I forgot to mention this earlier to you, and I want to make sure this message is out there. A lot of people go to social media for information. Just be very cautious of what you get off of social media, and make sure that any of the information that you're getting is coming from an official source. It's coming from Westchester, or it's
Thank
coming
you,
from
Mikey. I
one of the
appreciate
other
you, bud.
supporting agencies that are helping us out in this search for Joshua. After dark, sometime later on this evening, we will have to pare down a little bit with the volunteers out there for safety purposes and things of that nature. As you can see, the snow is starting to come down. The temperatures obviously are going to drop. I know folks are still going to be out there. They need to be paired up for those that do come out. We had a lot of support last night, and I can't say enough about that support. I know it's going to continue, but we will pare that down, and the public safety officials will still be out doing their job throughout the night. And then, of course, into tomorrow morning, we'll pick that back up again.
Yeah, I agree, Dash. YouTube has been a mess for like the past almost a month now. It's been screwing everything up, and their updates have messed things up. So yeah, I agree. It's been a complete mess.
The amount of support, again, I just want to mention that, and we talked about air assets and things of that nature. As you guys most probably saw, we got a little bit of break in the weather, and we had a helicopter up today. And that was fantastic, and I can't say enough for the Butler County Sheriff's Department to provide that air asset for us. They put out dive personnel for us, as well as additional manpower and resources. So just an incredible effort by everybody. So I can't say enough about the folks that have come out to help, whether it's the civilian folks that are coming out or all the members of the public safety community that are out here to assist us. So that's all I have.
Have you been able to clear any more ponds since the last time we talked? I know you guys have gone through 2 of the 8.
Yes, they have cleared a couple additional ponds, but I don't know if they have all 8 done yet. Yes.
And then the volunteers that were gathered here were told to focus south of the apartments. Was there a tip or a reason for that, or is that just an area that was previously uncovered?
Yeah, this morning it was focused north, so this afternoon's focus was a little bit further south.
You said 300 volunteers, 400 law enforcement, firefighters, that sort of thing. So we're saying at least 700 people out here making.
Several hundred people, give or take. We've got quite a lot of.
It's hard to
people.
track. There's a lot of people, volunteers. They don't have to check in anywhere. They're just coming in and checking.
That could be, Dash.
We're
Just
trying
saying.
to sign them in and get them registered and keep track of them.
I think, yeah, I haven't seen any other. That's a good point. Is it just happening in this platform over here, this genre, or is it everywhere?
Recognize that since we don't have any answers right now, if they find something, you may have to preserve that as evidence. You don't know what happened to him at this point.
Right. It's all beyond a search.
It could be
right?
what's going on,
It is.
SRB.
We
It's
wanna
clear as hell
make sure
seems
that
like
all
it.
that information, anything that is found, we want it preserved where it's at. Let the professionals come in and take care of it. So when you find it, point it out to us, preserve it, and we will come in and take a look
And
at
the
it.
importance of that at this stage is what?
Well, should we need an investigation or anything like that? It's a tip for us to be able to run from, or to be able to proceed from. We could bring in a dog. We could do more tracks. It's all those. We just want to preserve everything that we have.
They should have had dogs out already sniffing for his scent.
Do they have FLIR? Are they looking for heat signatures, or are they just looking by the site?
I'm not sure whether or not they used the FLIR out here today. So I think it has that. Did you hear?
I'm not sure. I don't think that it does. I think there was just line of sight.
Yeah.
Line of sight.
Mhm.
Now, at noon, you said this was still very much a hopeful search. As the hours tick by, what's morale like? How are you guys feeling? It's cold, it's snowing. This boy has been missing going on 24 hours.
Yeah, I can tell you morale remains very high. We're very optimistic. Everybody has got a great attitude, and they're putting forth one heck of an effort to try to find Joshua. So our spirits remain high and our hopes remain high.
In listening to the 911 calls, did this boy make it into the apartment after getting off the bus? Because it sounds like he was getting home from school. Did he ever make it into the apartment for sure?
He did. Yeah, he made it into the apartment.
Do you know if the divers are using some sort of special technology, or are they having just to kind of feel around for something?
So they are using some sonar technology. And they also, when they are physically in the water, it's like you said, it's feeling around.
it's murky to describe those conditions for people that might not understand just how difficult that water source is.
Welcome, Barbara.
Typically, all these retention ponds are very silty. They're murky. There's no, it's totally obscured. You can't see your hand in front of your face, literally. It's just that murky. So it is, it's cold and it's dark. So literally that work is done by literally feeling around.
Yeah, if I can add to that, I had an invaluable opportunity to look over his shoulder. One of the guys from Department of Natural Resources worked one of these drones, for lack of a better
I
term.
know, SRB. I'm starting to wonder. They've hit many ponds out of the 8 that they had surrounding this area. Earlier they had hit 6 of them already, or 7 of them already. This is newer, so I'm wondering if at this point they've hit all 8 of them and they still haven't found him. It's got me wondering at this point if he was grabbed. Okay, that's kind of where my worry is now, because I would have thought they would have found him almost immediately when going into the water there. So, and they didn't, which is a little wild to me, truly, because that's exactly where I expected him to be found right away. I really did. So, it's a little unnerving.
Term, it's pretty impressive. But you know, one of the things too is, even though you could see when you got closer to the bottom, you know, you could see the rocks and the debris and things of that nature, but it does then, you know, you stand a chance of disturbing some of the silt and things of that nature, which makes it murkier. So, but it's impressive technology.
I'm sorry, I know you said it right off the top. Will there be any more updates today? We plan on any more?
Yes, I believe that we have another scheduled update. What time is that, Barb? No?
We may, yeah, if we have additional information, we may go forward with that update, but we will keep you guys posted on the WhatsApp, I think is where all your communication's coming from. So if we have additional information or a change, we'll get that to you.
I'm sorry, one more question. We asked earlier about, have you had any response from the family about the search efforts? Has anything changed since the last update?
You know, we're in contact with the family, but you know, as far as any statements or comments or anything like that, I'll be reserved about that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Can we get the correct spelling? We've been saying 7, but I think the date of birth indicates maybe he turns 7 next week.
I sent out the correct,
Yeah.
so
Okay, so that was it for that. That's all there is, and I can't find anything new with it. So I'm sorry, folks. I'm gonna keep looking and keep following. I'm sure Molly's still looking, Sherry's still looking, Doodle's still looking. Hey, Bill, I can see you. So that's what's going on in that situation so far. Nothing else here, sadly. But like I said, we will stay with it. Let's see. Let me see. Well, thank you, Molly. I got that. Hold on. Thank you, SRB. I got yours too. All right, onward. Okay, let me see here. Give me 1 second, folks. Okay. Oof. Hello? Hurro. Maybe not. Maybe so. Can you hear me, Mom? Guess not. Okay. Well, she will speak to me when she can speak to me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you just scared the hell out
Can
of
you
me.
hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Sorry.
No worries. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Okay. How are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I are good. Thank you for joining me. So, most of
You
us
are
were in
good.
here. Yes, most of us were in here earlier when that inhuman person was sentenced. Did you get to see it, Mom?
I've been lurking in the bushes of somebody that was streaming it. I didn't know you were streaming it, or I'd have been over here.
Yeah, I did it on the morning show. I figured you were
Oh,
working
well,
on
yeah,
it.
then I didn't see it then.
Yeah, well, it was 1:30, but still, yeah, I'm not. Well, before we get into what we're gonna do, I'll say it again. I'm not 100% happy with how that went down at all.
Nope.
I mean,
Should have been
she's
life
still
without parole.
right. She still got a lot of time, but I still just think that nope, not enough for me. Definitely should have been no
Nope.
pro. And
No, I agree.
the statements that were made about her from other people, it was like, are you serious? You guys obviously do not know who this is. Her aunt that came out with a whole movie script and was reading for an hour and a half. I mean, come on. Nope. Sorry, I was not impressed whatsoever. At all. Very unhappy with that whole outcome, but whatever.
Nope. Yeah. And, Billy Joe looks like she's aged.
I'm sure she has, yeah. Yep. I agree. It was definitely not what I thought was going to happen.
I was honestly surprised to see her there.
Yeah. I didn't think she was supporting her at first because I hadn't seen her at any of the other hearings or anything or the trial at all. So, okay, fine, but whatever.
Who knows? She probably had her own court cases going on.
Very true. I still think she should have been charged at some point.
I agree. I still think she should be charged. She was supposed to be there. The babies were not supposed to be in Leilani's care to start with. So, I very much believe that she should have been charged.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. All right, let me do this real quick too, because I am going to pin this because we are going to do the open panel here at some point.
And I honestly think that the text message or the Facebook message or whatever that was sent to a content creator that's no longer on the platform, I believe that should have been used in court. And I was a hair of an inch from calling the prosecutor's office myself and being like, hey, did y'all not know this exists? Is this not a confession? Because how the hell else did Billy Joe know? But I stayed out of it.
I'm lost
as much as I want.
Hey, Steven, welcome, buddy.
Billy Joe.
Go ahead, Mom.
Billy Joe sent a Facebook message to a content creator that's no longer on this platform. I have screenshots of it because they were sent to me by the content creator that said apparently Leilani did it. He's in the landfill. She doesn't remember.
Well, I said today during that whole thing that Billy Joe said early on in the investigation, she knew that Leilani did this. I don't know. Even before they went to Stingrays for their little outing or whatever, she had said she knew that she did it. So she just wasn't gonna what was it? I can't remember what it was, whether it was she wasn't going to turn her daughter over or something until the very end when she did it. I can't remember what the hell the reason was or something that was said. And I just was like, oh my God, like, force something. I don't know. I don't know why they couldn't force something, but there was something that was said. It was a long ways back. And I can't remember about that whole situation, but she knew the whole time. She knew her daughter did what she did. She said right there, and today she even said today, when they questioned her, are you disappointed because Leilani has not told you? I'm using my own words, but disappointed because Leilani has not told you what she did. Billy Joe said, yeah. Do you wish that she would? Billy Joe said, yeah. And I think she did, but she hasn't outright said she did. Do you know what I'm saying? Billy Joe basically said she knew she did it, but Leilani did not come out right and say, yeah, Mom, I killed him. This is stupid. It's so stupid.
Wow.
And that was her time. She would have got on the
It
stand
is, and
today.
like I said,
Go ahead.
I believe that it should have been. I probably have a lag. I believe that message should have been admissible in court because the dates alone on that message showed that she freaking knew.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's withholding evidence, infringing on an investigation. Like, I could keep going.
Oh, it's definitely infringing an investigation. But like I said, she knew, but Leilani never outright said it to her to incriminate herself, in my opinion. So therefore, nothing came of it. But this is still bullshit. And again, this is the first time I saw Leilani Simon cry for more than 3 seconds with a real tear. And it's because her family was there. Her mother was there this time. So was her stepdad. And the thing, he starts crying. Guys, I got teary-eyed a couple times because I'm sitting here thinking, and it wasn't for her. I promise you that. I'm sitting here thinking about, what about this child that did not get to live any bit of a life? And you're all sitting here crying for this monster. We're going to miss you. I hope that you will give her some parole so there could be some kind of a life. Why didn't anybody worry about Quentin getting some kind of a life? That was my problem with this whole thing. I don't care. Dash is in here, Mom, saying hey to you, I think. So,
hey, Dash.
I just don't know, guys. This was so dumb to me. All I could think about was Sebastian. Or not Sebastian, Jesus. Quentin. Sorry. All I could think about was Quentin. That's it. I don't care nothing about Leilani, her mom, her aunt, her brother, her nobody. I just
Nope, I don't. But you know what? I'm pretty sure that was just one last little stab at her mom. Oh, I want his remains released to my brother.
Oh yeah, that was a
little odd.
How about that one? Welcome, El Barriqua. Oh yeah, today is Brian Koberger's birthday. I forgot about that. And it was 2 days before mine. Yeah, that was definitely. I don't. That's on you. I don't. I'm not gonna do that. But, what was I gonna say though? She, did you see Billy Joe's face when she did that?
Yeah. Yeah, her mouth was hung open. The fly trap.
And that was after Billy Joe professed her love to her and blah 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 and all that fun stuff. And yeah. I was like, oh my God, you're gonna give rights to this idiot brother of yours that has no idea how to tie his own shoes without his mom, unless he's stoned, of course. And so yeah, okay, go ahead and do that. That shows proof right there. I don't think she should have the ability nor the right to have anything to do with that, in my opinion. I think the state should have taken control over that, because what right does she have after what she's done?
In my opinion, she doesn't have any rights. It's not her place. She took his life. She shouldn't have an opinion or a say in what happens to his remains. My son's been through enough. Yeah, by you bitch.
Oh, Mom, I'll tell you right now, when she said that, I was hot. I was pissed. Your son's been through enough. Your son that you didn't give two shits about wouldn't have went through anything if you wouldn't have done what you did. Oh, that one really made me mad. I'll be right. Oh. What do you think, Steven? What do you think?
I agree with that stuff.
Well,
I shouldn't have been able to talk to her.
I mean, I got teary-eyed on some of the things that that they were saying, and when they asked questions, I think the first person that went up, I think it was her brother. I think it was Paul. I think his name was, but the great thing about it is one thing about this case here is it might be over, but I don't think it's over because I think you're gonna see her mom going back to court because that's what I believe. Because when she testified, I knew she was lying right through her teeth when she was saying, "You knew about this girl, your daughter, before it even got worse and worse." Danny ought to get charged too, but he sat back and he knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah, that may be something, folks. We don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not counting on it, but I don't know, Mom. And Stephen both. I think what if there is a chance that she's charged with something? I mean, I think it would have happened already, but I don't know. Maybe I've seen crazier things happen, but that would definitely that would light my day up. I'll tell you that much. If Billy got charged with some kind of neglect or something, you know what I mean? We'll see, though.
She should be charged. Those kids were in her custody.
Oh, absolutely.
Were in her custody, and Leilani was not supposed to be alone with those children.
And see, this is what I think too. What Doodle just said here. Doodle said, "I think Billy got some kind of deal. There's no other explanation." I was thinking hard on this too. I think she may have gotten some form of an immunity as well, because she is the one that turned Leilani in. Remember? And I think she told them some other things that Leilani probably don't know that she told them, because of course she's not going to say, she doesn't want to ruin that relationship. So I can believe that too, Doodle. I can really, truly believe that. That makes a lot of sense to me. Welcome, James. Good to see you tonight, sir. So yeah, it would be interesting. It would definitely be interesting to see her go back to court for anything. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I was a little shocked. I'll say that she did not get life without parole. I really thought with everything that was said, and I'll give you this much: the prosecutor, I love that prosecutor, using the remark and bringing that detective back up on the stand, other than making Walt extremely happy.
Yeah.
That was very smart. Addressing her character, showing what she did throughout that, just basically showing that she's a piece of shit. That was perfect. And the other character witnesses, again, and I don't know if you guys caught, but her aunt even, I don't know if she meant to, but her aunt even went against her character based on what she was saying, when she was saying how she would bring the kids back there and they would scream and cry because they didn't want to stay there. They wanted to go back home with her aunt. That says something in itself. So no. And her brother was probably the worst person that could have put up there for her. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. I'm sorry. Well, sometimes they get yelled at and this and that and everything. No, you don't yell at kids for the stupid shit she was yelling at him for. But she would watch them when they were swimming and they were doing this. You idiot liar. We know what he was. She threw Quentin in the pool one time. He almost drowned. Let's tell some more lies there, Paul. Jesus. Sorry. I get worked up every time I talk about this case or every time I see her. And I noticed how the aunt kept throwing the blame on Danny. Did you guys catch that too?
Yeah, I think that Danny's moved on. I think he just moved on because he wasn't there. He wouldn't even come back anyway. He's going on with his life. He said, when he was there on the stand, I knew exactly after he left, he was gone. He was gone. He said, enough is enough. I'm tired of you, and he went on with his life. That's what I think he knew. He knew and realized that he was messing with the wrong person. And he knew.
Well, what do you think, Stephen? Do you think that he knew what happened the night of what happened? Or do you think he was sleeping and had no idea and just left the next morning without nothing?
Well, I don't know, because there's a whole they were kind of like dwelling on her. They didn't never focus on him. They would focus on her. And it's like, well, you living in a household, you got some guy that's taking care of the quitting and you're asleep, and it's kind of like you don't know what there's like the pieces ain't adding up to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And I said, well, you're asleep. You could be high on drugs and be dead. I mean, all I know,
Right.
But it's just so funny because when they were talking about the remains, I kind of laughed. I said, "Did you know in a state thing, they can hold that body until they're ready to release it because they may find something else." See,
well, what they were doing though is it was showing once again her selfishness. She wanted them to hold on to his body rather than giving him a proper burial, just in case she needed it for appeal, because then it could get her out of trouble. So that proves again the piece of shit and how selfish she is as to why she wouldn't release that, because she was more worried about maybe possibly getting the ability to be free than burying her child. And the only reason why I think personally she made that statement about he's been through enough is because her attorney told her that's what she needs to do. That's the only reason why I think she did it. I don't think it had nothing to do with her. That's my opinion, but I feel very strong about that, folks. Truly and wholeheartedly, I do. Once again, Leilani strikes again. It's all about her. So I feel bad for Danny too, Sherry. I don't think I'll be honest with you guys, based on his testimony, watching him break down and cry and so on. I don't think Danny knew. I don't think he knew.
I don't think he knew at all.
I think that explains why Danny ran like he did when she called and said he's missing. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done that. He had already known, in my opinion.
He might have been pissed.
That too. Absolutely. See, I don't think Danny knew anything that happened that night because she wasn't there. He passed out. She comes home. She did what she did. And he goes up and Quentin was probably just, if he was still in there, obviously he wasn't. There was a bunch of blankets laying in there, I guess, because she went and did that night. And he probably didn't even look at Quentin. It was dark in the house, early in the morning, going to work. Why would you stop to think to look at a baby sleeping as you're going out the door when you know the mother's there? You wouldn't. So he never looked. Okay. He just assumed. And that's why I think happened. And that's why he didn't have any idea of it. So that is my opinion, of course, too. So.
And I thought she said something about, I know someone said something about she was kind of like cheating on Danny or something.
Oh, yes, she was. Yes, she was.
I said, dude, what?
She was sleeping with the drug dealer. And then they pointed out that she was already, since she's been in prison, she's got a pen pal that she's flirting back and forth with that's a child molester. I don't know if you caught that, Mom. Did you hear that part?
Yes.
I wasn't surprised.
It doesn't surprise me.
Right. That's what I said. I wasn't surprised. Welcome, Brutally. She's already hit on, excuse me. And that's why I love the prosecutor bringing this up. She's already hit on corrections officers while in there. It just shows her character. This is all she cares about. Sex and drugs. Boom. The baby did not matter. She did not like him. She did not care what happened to him, no matter what she says. So yeah, no, she's a piece of garbage. And I truly hope that justice will prevail while she's in prison, in my opinion. And I hate saying things like that, guys, and it doesn't sound very nice. But I truly do hope that it does. I hope somebody gets their hands on her and she gets worked over more than once. Daily, I think. I think she needs to be beat down every day. That's my opinion. So, 100%, dude. 100%. I appreciate your guys' input on this. I definitely do. So, I got a new thing that Vinny put out that about Stearns. I don't know if you've seen anything or got any updates on anything with Stearns, Mom. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, it depends on what it's about.
Well, you know, I follow everything Court TV puts out. This is the newest thing I found, and it could have some stuff in it we've already seen. it's got a couple things in it that were different to me, and I just kind of wanted your guys' opinion. I wanted to go over it with you guys, like we usually do. So, 1 second, let me check something real quick. SR triple B, SR BBB, where you are, SRB.
Is the little dude still missing out of Westchester?
Say that again.
Is Joshua the little dude still missing out of Westchester?
Yes, that's Westchester, Ohio.
He's still missing?
Yes, ma'am. I covered that a few minutes ago.
It's snowing where my kid is, and he's only an hour and a half from Ohio. Is it snowing up there?
Yeah, he's up by where SRB's at, roughly around the Cincinnati area, kind of. By the way, let me go back and cover something. You guys know I take accountability for everything. Let me fix something, because if I said something offhanded, I'm very sorry. I was informed at some point that Paul, Leilani's brother, may be autistic. And if that's true, please excuse what I said, because I had no idea. I just thought that he did drugs and was like the rest of them. If that's true, then that explains a whole lot of other things. So my deepest apologies if that is what a factual statement. I never saw or heard anything about that before ever. So shame on me, and my apologies if that is what it is. But never have I ever heard that before, so I would have never known. I'm so very sorry. I didn't even catch it wherever it came up at. But welcome, Dragonfly. Good to see you. Because you guys know I would never ever put something out like that about somebody else. My apologies, folks. And that to me says a whole lot then. And I actually have a little bit more respect for him at that point, because if he has autism and he's still standing up for his sister and able to be the person he has been, that says a whole lot. So that probably tells me that he self-medicates too, with marijuana and stuff like that. So thank you for the info. And again, my apologies for making that statement, because that's way against anything I would ever say. Yeah, he's still missing, Mom. I just did the update. They did a little press conference on him, and I don't understand this. There's 8 lakes or ponds, like 8 bodies of water that surround the area that this little guy went missing from. They've searched them all, I believe, at this point. Excuse me. The last update I checked when we were still live earlier today, they had done all but one. And there's nothing there. They hadn't said they haven't found anything at this point. So I'm a little nervous now at this point, wondering if this little guy just didn't get snatched. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Doodle had messaged me about him last night. We had a bit of a family emergency, so I was kind of offline, if you will. And
everything okay?
Because there isn't much about him at all. It is now. I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
But I went and I found Doodle had sent me an article, and I went and found an additional article. Of course, the top of my head about blew off. My blood pressure was completely topped out.
Right.
And then I went on Twitter and I found the local reporter that was reporting the updates on his case. And I asked her if there were dive teams in the area. And that was last night. I'm in Twitter jail, so I have to look and see what time it was. Because if I try to post anything, it puts me in jail for 6 more hours, which is complete and total bullshit. That's neither here nor there. And then a local that actually lives there
Uh-huh.
At 10 o'clock last night, dive team command center was set up behind this lady's house that is a local there. And so I know they were at least there at 10 last night. And I'm surprised that this reporter doesn't know me. I've never interacted with her, but she answered me. So it was really, really cool of her to take time to answer somebody she didn't know, which I'm sure she went through my profile and so what I do and was like, oh yeah, not some weirdo, and replied to me.
Okay.
Yes, SRB. I'm in Twitter jail.
Surprise. I can never imagine how you can end up in Twitter jail. Ever.
Because I put my whole ass opinion out there, and there's a whole group of people that ain't got nothing better to do than come after somebody that ain't scared of them, and they reported one of my posts and got me put in Twitter jail, but that's all right, because I'll be out in 6 hours, and I'm going to come right back at you, and I'll just reword what I said.
You be careful, because that's why Molly is permanently and completely totally banned from Twitter for life. Now think about how bad you got to be
I'll
to
just
have that
use
happen.
my old man's account.
Well, you could do that too. You know, people that have
He
had
said, what?
I've heard like 8 people that have had 8, 9 accounts on Twitter that have gotten blocked with all of them at some point. But yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy. That's why I got out of there, because it was very toxic for me. Because there's certain things that will flip the switch with me that get me going, and I start swearing and flipping and freaking out. I go Sicilian, as I call it. And Twitter seemed to be the place to do that, because I can stay calm over here. It seems like as soon as I would go to Twitter, I'd hit the first post and I'm going. Then the second one, and I'm steaming. The smoke starts rolling out my ears, and I'm just like, yeah. So I quit. I just stayed away. Yes, Molly, Molly's not even allowed to say the word Twitter anymore. She's just not. So it's bad. But anyway. All right. Well, I'm glad
Phil.
I'm sorry.
I told he said if I was making friends again. SRB said I have bridge huggers watching me. I do.
Bridge huggers. Wow. You guys are great. You guys are great. Anyway, so yeah, that's why. And I'm gonna have a meeting here probably tomorrow morning, maybe, or after the show tomorrow, to set up some not rules, but some stipulations for something about missing cases. I mean, I can say it in here basically, but what I'm gonna want is for the team of peeps, because when I'm not in here, like in the evenings and stuff like that, if I'm doing stuff with the peeps here, I don't look at Discord, YouTube, nothing. I just do my thing. And of course, I did not get an Amber Alert because they didn't put one out. There was no alert that went out, which pissed me off too for this case here in Ohio. Excuse me. And so you guys knew about this. A lot of them knew about it last night. So what I'm going to have them do from now on, if they can, if they don't mind, is when something like that happens, I want somebody to call me. I don't care unless it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. But I want somebody to call me if it's normal time. That way I will go live and put something out immediately. If it's like that. Do you know what I mean? Because the more awareness, the better it would be. So that's what I'm going to try to implement now, if I can, is just to have somebody, Molly, Mama Bear, hell, anybody that wants to just call me and say, hey, we got another missing child, and I'll go do something. Or either that or I'll put a video out. Doodlebug, anybody. That way it gets extra awareness on it right away. So anyway, that's going to be the thing. I'm sorry.
I said that works for me because I've locked myself out of my Discord. So if we can, I find out either through Twitter Messenger, which I've got it on my phone now, and text. But if somebody doesn't hit me up, then I usually don't know about it till the next day.
See, I was upset when I realized that they knew last night, and that it popped out last night. I had no idea. First thing this morning, it's the first thing I was going to go into when I went into the live this morning, and I'm like, shit, everybody knew about it last night. And Alicia's made the statement before too. You need to look at your Discord more. She's right, but like I said, when I'm doing something here, I get wrapped up in it. I don't even pay attention, and I just pass out because I'm so exhausted and wake up at 3 a.m. sitting on the couch. Okay, so I want somebody to call me when things like that happen if they don't see me in here or anything like that, so I can get right on it regardless. So, especially with the child that's autistic, and this is in my area too. You know what I mean? So, just saying. But anyway,
if the Amber Alert system wasn't trash,
I know
you would have known about it, and that's what me off.
Well, I had more of a possibility of knowing about it. That don't mean that they'd have sent out the Amber Alert like they're supposed to. I still don't understand how they don't know whether or not he was kidnapped or not. And I think because of the way that works sometimes, not knowing, I think they should drop the Amber Alert anyway. That's my opinion, but I know it won't happen. And it is so often, Elizabeth. It's so often now that I can't even imagine how many times a month this happens now, as compared to once every 6 months. It's at one point I remember. Now it's every other day, if not every day, and it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really sad. I've never. My wife
And
even
it's
asked
cold.
me. Yeah. My wife even asked me when she called me. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, talking about an autistic boy that went missing from Ohio, nonverbal." She said, "Another one?" I said, "Yeah, hon. Hey, Paula, there's your friend Walt." She goes, "What is going on?" I said, "That's what we want to know. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Something's not right, Mom. I mean, think about it. How many people, how many autistic nonverbal children have we talked about in the past 3 months that have gone missing?"
It's been a lot.
I don't even know. I would have to go back through and count them all. That is sad when I can't just sit here and give you names. It's that much of an epidemic.
100%. It's becoming an epidemic just as much as the Rona was, just as much as drugs are. It's becoming an epidemic, folks, and that's really sad. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's happening like it is. I don't know why it's become so prominent all of a sudden, but it's a very bad thing, and it's horrific. So, whose birthday? Somebody's birthday in here today?
No, not in here. Not that
Oh,
I've
I
seen.
didn't. No, I didn't think so. Okay, just making sure. Well, that's a big part of it too, and that's what Doodle's stream is supposed to be about this weekend. Is to try to find a way to educate parents and each other, caretakers, guardians, whatever, on tips and tools to use to help try to keep these kids safer. So I can't wait to do that show. I really can't. I'm very, very much so looking forward to that. So we've been kind of waiting so that we could get you involved in it, Mom.
Yeah, it sucks that I work freaking during the day and I miss a lot that's going on, and I'm not able to, be here and do what I want to do and be a part of what I was doing, and which I still do what I can, but it's infuriating not to be able to do it 100% of the time, which is what I'm really working for. And eventually I will get back to where I can do it at.
Right. You got to live too. So there's that. But all right, guys, let me throw this up here. This is something newer. My understanding is it is, and it's got a couple things in it. I was told 2 people sent this to me actually about Madeline's Stearns part in Madeline's case. So, and then we can talk about it. Again, thank you, Mom and Stephen, both for joining me. I appreciate you both very much. Yeah, I know. I am too, SRB. Highly. Well, see, that's the thing. If there was an alert, then I would have known about it last night. There's the other side of that too. And it just pisses me off to no end. So that's why everybody needs to sign this little petition right here that Arctic put together and see if we can get that change. For sure. All right, on we go.
Welcome to Vinny Politan Investigates. I'm Ted Rowlands, filling in for Vinny. It's a story that is as heartbreaking as it is infuriating. A young girl who was never truly given a fair shot at life. According to prosecutors, Madeline Soto was sexually abused for years and eventually murdered by the hands of her mom's boyfriend. It's the tragic tale surrounding the life and death of Madeline Soto. Here's her story. On February 24th, Madeline Soto had just turned 13. She celebrated her birthday with friends and family at a relative's house. That night, when Madeline returned home, her mother, Jen, was there with her boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. Jen sent Madeline and her boyfriend, Stephen, to go sleep together in an upstairs bedroom, and that was the last time, Jen says, she saw Madeline alive. Stephen claimed that he dropped Madeline off at school the next morning, but Madeline never made it to school. She was murdered and discarded about 20 miles from her house. Prosecutors have charged Stephen with her murder. They also have charged him with something else, years of sexual abuse. They say they found incriminating images of Stearns abusing Madeline on his Google Drive, abuse that went back more than 4 years. Jen Soto has not been charged with any crimes, but both Stephen and Jen have made statements in recorded jail calls, police interrogations, and television appearances. Now we investigate the murder of Madeline Soto. And if you recall, prior to Stearns being charged with the murder, he was arrested for sexual abuse after hundreds of child pornography files were found on his phone. According to prosecutors, Stearns had taken pictures and videos of Madeline while he was raping her and saved them to his Google Drive. Let's go back to the moment in the police interview where investigators first confront Stearns about what they have found.
What do you think was on the phone? Text messages. Emails. Phone stuff. Pictures? Oh, yeah. What kind of pictures were on there? Training card pictures. Lightsaber pictures. Here's where I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There's your phone. And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about. Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
Yes, is the answer to that. Stearns is charged with 60 crimes related to the abuse, including 40 charges of unlawfully possessing graphic material. But according to the state, those weren't the only images found in Stearns' possession. Take a look at what they discovered on USB drives used by him. One of the drives was empty, and the other drive contained more than 35,000 images of child pornography. It did not appear that Madeline was in any one of those images. The hard drive had not been used since 2020, and it didn't contain anything of evidentiary value in the case against Madeline. But he had possession of that USB drive. So if there was child pornography there and it wasn't Madeline, who was it? And will Stearns be held liable for those images? That brings me to my first question of this investigation. Will Stephen Stearns face more child pornography charges? One would think.
They have to hold him accountable if he had that in his possession, right or wrong. Whether it had nothing to do with
Yes,
his
they
case or
have to
not.
hold him accountable. They have to charge him.
What I
It doesn't
thought.
matter. Not only will he be charged, but he will have to pay restitution to the if they're able to identify the children that are in that sick, disgusting material, he will have to pay those families restitution, because that's how it works here in Florida. They don't play with these sickos.
Right. Good.
So it will be separate. That's why the charges are separate. If you look at the first doc drop that came out, the charges are all separate. And the reason being is because no, they are not part of Madeline's case. However, they are part of his character.
Yep. Yeah, and that'll definitely go against his character.
And it is something that he is being charged with.
And not to mention, no matter what he ends up being charged with for his trial with those charges, they'll have each set of the charges separately. But then if they come back, and even after he goes to prison or whatever, and they come back, they can charge him again with these extra charges, folks, and just compile it. And that way that they make sure that this piece of
but the DP charge,
well, yeah,
you're right.
The death penalty charge.
The DP charge is going to overrule any of the rest of this.
Maybe that's why they haven't done any of
You know,
that
he need
extra
not think
charge.
for a second that he's not going to get off scot-free on this shit, because let me tell you, they just passed that law not 11 months before he was arrested. He will be, mark my words, in my opinion, he will be the first one that they follow through with this new law.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I have no doubt whatsoever. But I have a feeling, after hearing the conversation between him and his dad and his mom, that at some point his defense possibly is going to come forth and try to put this on Jen. I feel it. I do. And I'm not saying that
just
she
like
doesn't
Leilani just tried to pin it on Danny.
right. And I'm not saying that Jen shouldn't have charges on her either, but I hope to God that doesn't mean he's going to try to get out of this completely and put it all on her, because they're not going to allow that. I'll tell you that right now. They have enough stuff on him alone on what they found on his phone. You know, his whole comment about, well, I didn't start it and I didn't this. I don't care. You contributed. You did what you did. You're trash. But yeah, I have a feeling that his defense is gonna. That's when it's gonna come out. So I don't know. We'll see. But either way, there's no way this guy's gonna get off on this, folks. I don't care what he does, what his defense attorney does. I don't care if he had Johnny Cochran himself. There's no way this man's gonna get off on this. So don't ever think that that's gonna be a thing. There's too many images on his device, guys. There was the total amount of images that were just on his one device. Do you remember the number, Mom? It was way, way up there. Thousands, folks. Thousands. So, that's not going to happen. How do you pay restitution? I don't
Barbara,
think you can.
If you are in... Yep.
Mom.
The way they do it here, if you are in prison for child charges like this, I'm trying to be careful because of YouTube. Say your family sends you money, right, for your commissary. A portion of that comes off of your commissary.
Yeah.
Yes, and they put it towards the restitution that you owe.
Yep, that's true. They do that in Ohio too. They definitely do. You only get like a very minimal amount of that money towards your commissary. The rest of it goes towards whatever you owe for that, for sure. Phil said, even if Jen has a limited immunity, there are structured ways to come back on Jen if any of those images were on her device or through her URL. Agreed. I was told that by somebody else too. Phil is right. And I hope they do it. I really do hope they do it.
But that immunity only goes for that one interview. Like, she doesn't have blanketed immunity. She has very limited immunity. So just what was said, and some of the interviews are redacted. So what was said in that one interview cannot be used against her.
That's also only if she didn't lie about anything. There's that too. So.
Right.
For sure.
So, given the amount of images that they found on that hard drive, let's bring in our guest for the hour. Joining us, former homicide prosecutor and current co-host of the True Crime MTN on YouTube, Belva Pearson, and creator and host of the Grizzly True Crime YouTube channel, Gisela K. Both of you are well versed in this case, and sadly, all of us are. It's just a heartbreaker. Melbo, he's got all these images. One would expect that he would be charged because of possession of child pornography, but he's also facing the death penalty right now in the Soto case. So what do you expect from the state of Florida? Is this a situation where they don't need to charge him necessarily because he's already being pursued and he's facing a death conviction? But what about those kids on those images as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Ted. And that is my concern, is those poor children who have been violated in the most awful way, and their families may not see justice. So this is one of those situations where obviously the prosecution is going to go forward with the death penalty case against the defendant. However, they will likely file charges in relation to the, I believe it's 35,000 images of child pornography. But I think that would be more like a placeholder. So in other words, they would file those charges, keep it there, but the main focus is going to be the homicide. And then after that case is resolved, whether it be a conviction or a hung jury, whatever the case may be, then they will take another look at the child pornography case and maybe decide if they want to maybe, for instance, if he's convicted and he ends up getting the death penalty, well, there's not much of a reason to move forward with the child pornography case, and they may pause on that. But if it turns out that something different happens with the homicide case, they may use that charge as that case as a backup in order to make sure that he faces accountability.
Gisela, what? It's just another part of this horrific case, another little tidbit that that came out fairly recently. What does it tell you about this person and how scary it really was that he was around this girl with seemingly permission from mom?
Typical groomer. I mean, seemingly innocent, connecting with a child. He's collecting all sorts of figurines, all these toys and all of that. But look at what else he was collecting. And also there's the 35,000 pictures on one of the USBs. Imagine on all these old phones when he worked at Disney. And he was filming the roommates, the adult roommates in the house. So he seemed to be a collector of all things. I can only imagine eventually there will be more charges, but there might also be more people, that are charged, because usually guys like this would trade, and that is a huge concern as well.
So to that point, Melba, could they go to him and say, hey, where did you get this, or implicate other people? And he's in a position where he doesn't have a lot going for him, but is that something investigators would want to do? Because let's face it, as a society, this is a massive problem. And it is one that it's being conducted in secret on the dark web, et cetera. Any help would be big help to get kids out of harm's way.
Absolutely. I think that the investigators are going to do a thorough search and investigation and also question him with regards to the source of those photos. But at the same token, it's sort of like, he could speak on it because he's hoping to maybe curry favor, but at the same token, it's not going to get him a more favorable plea or more favorable resolution. The death penalty is going to stay on the table. He's going to have to face accountability for what he did to poor Madeline. So I don't see a scenario where it's going to be, if he gives this information, he's going to get a reduced sentence or some other kind of benefit. So with that being said, it may not be necessarily in his best interest to even say anything, because if he's not going to get anything out of it, sort of in his mindset, what's the point? And his attorney may be saying the same thing as well.
Right. And Gisela, he's in a bad spot, and rightfully so. This is a crime that jurors, the population is absolutely disgusted with, the deceit, all of it. And his phone calls, we'll be talking about that coming up. When you look at what we now know, in terms of the evidence, it seems overwhelming. And this is a death case, so you do need overwhelming evidence, but Florida seems to have it.
Yeah, so overwhelming is going to have 2 trials. So one will be for all the CSAM charges, the child sexual abuse material, the other one for the murder charges, and who knows if they'll pile on whatever they find from the investigation with these 35,000 images. That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's insane, folks. There are rings, like child pornography rings, that don't have that many. This is one person, okay? One person, which still makes me believe that there's a huge possibility that this dude is possibly involved in a ring, okay? I think he was selling this stuff to people. Where was his money coming from? He wasn't working. He was a lazy piece of shit. So I can imagine, I could see him trying to sell this stuff with no problem. It makes me sick, but it's factual information, in my opinion, that they're probably going to find. Jennifer's saying to Maddie's father that she hoped nobody filmed it. Yeah, that right there, when that statement came out, I was like, what did you just say? Why would any mother say that ever? Just out of the blue, at a random statement, okay? that was not something that was created out of nowhere. That was something that was stated because she knows something. Okay. Obviously, she knew about him doing that. Go ahead, Mom. Go ahead.
It was projecting. She was projecting
Mhm.
what was happening onto another situation.
Yep.
In
Absolutely.
my opinion, allegedly.
No, I agree. No. There's no alleged shit. I agree with you on that one 100%. That you can't look at it any other way. Okay, so your child's going to go spend the weekend with their father. And one of the first things you say is, I hope nobody tries to film her under the door. What? What kind of a creepy, dirty ass mind do you have to think that up right away with this child being with her father? Mm-hmm.
When you hand your daughter up to a sicko like that,
I mean, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Freaking, she's in my opinion, guys, I'm sorry. She may not have we don't know. She may not have had hands on. May not have done this. We don't know that yet, but I'm still saying, as far as I am concerned personally, she is just as responsible as he is for what has happened to that child. Period. All the way to the very end. She may not have had nothing to do with Maddie's murder, but she had something to do with the reason why Maddie was murdered. Sorry. Not sorry. So, yeah. Well, yeah, see, there's that. That's what I'm saying. And she stayed with the guy. Was she the one that had him do it? Was Jen the one that said, hey, go film such and such under the door? I bet we get good money for that one. Or then we can look at it together. I mean, I don't know, guys. This is weird shit to me to be talking about. I'm just saying, this is how these freaks think. Okay? They're predators. They're just disgusting people. And this is how their minds work, sadly. Oh, right, Phil. I know that. That's what I was saying. I started to say it earlier, and I bounced to something else, because my ADHD is turned all the way up to 11 right now. All right, moving on. And you go, Gisela. I'm glad that she's on here. This is my favorite channel, and she's one of my favorite creators because she really has been involved in this. She's put all this stuff out. She's gotten all this stuff, and she has basically told others to use that stuff to put it out as well, because she wants the whole world to see this, and she's really good at it. So I'm grateful that she's on the show. Wait, that I never saw. Where'd that come from, Phil? Good Jesus. Are you serious? If that's true, then there you go.
A lot, but he's facing the death penalty. Things are looking pretty grim for him, but yet he's still enthusiastic. He thinks he needs his social security card because he's going to get out one day.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to have hit home when his conversations that are recorded. It is important to note that these 2 hard drives were turned in by the father, Stefan's father, Chris Stearns, and not actually located by investigators. There could be more drives. Investigators haven't found them yet. Let's watch as Chris Stearns describes the hard drives during an interview with Hidden True Crime on YouTube.
I said, hey, look, there's a desktop computer at home. Maybe you guys should come get it. He said, okay, we'll make arrangements to do that. Only to find out that the hard drive was removed from it. I know it was there Sunday morning when he left, because I told the police that after I found that out. So he purposely removed that hard drive. Why? Well, again, as I explained to the police, very forthcoming, that Saturday evening, he was having some sort of anxiety panic attack, and I've never, ever seen this expression on his face. Never. And something he had some sort of information and had no idea what it was, but he was really panicked. And then to find out that this hard drive was removed. So, we're cleaning out his room a few weeks later, come across this USB drive, 2 of them, as a matter of fact. I put one in both of them computer. One had nothing, just like the evidence shows. The other one, I just hovered my mouse over the fields, didn't see the image, because again, you can't unsee what you see.
It's just file names,
File names, and just from the description, I said, this is not good.
Melba, he was like living with his parents, communicating with his parents, constantly, always asking them for money. They were a huge part of his life. This isn't like some dude that moved across country and is sitting in a basement conducting all this. He's in their house at times, around them at times, yet able to pull the wool over their eyes. That is a scary. I mean, they were shocked at all of this when it came out, and yet here he was doing all of this right in front of them, yet they didn't seem to know. What does that tell you about the cunning nature of him and other, basically, child predators?
Well, child predators have learned over time to hide their predilections because they know it's not acceptable by society. They know it's not legal. So, of course, they know how to be able to maneuver and get the sick fantasies that they enjoy, be able to get that information and get those kicks. So he wouldn't be talking about it at the dining room table. There'd be no way for his parents to necessarily know unless he was bringing children home, which is highly unlikely. He's going out and doing all of this dirt and disgusting things outside of his home. So again, his parents would have no reason to even think that that's what's going on. I'm sure they look like decent people. I'm sure they probably raised him well. And so there's no thought process where it could be that this is what the defense.
Sure thing. Hi, Leslie. Good to see you. I mean, should you do it? Yeah, well, of course you should try. I mean, you kind of have to. But it's up to them whether you last or don't last. So, yeah, I would go for it.
Is doing. So.
Yeah. Let's get a break. Our guests are going to stay with us as we examine the next question in our investigation. It's about...
Trying to prepare myself for whatever was coming.
Everybody says I went to the wrong crowd, but I think I was the wrong crowd. Nobody in this world loves you like your parents.
And he said to me, you know, when you be close, like your own parents and having party.
I couldn't get out of my head. I couldn't stop.
Relationship with Madeline to investigators. Detectives usually record these interviews to be used during the investigation, and eventually they are played in court. So let's listen to a jail call now, which are also recorded and also typically sometimes played in a courtroom. Well, this is the defendant.
These, I believe, we've heard, you guys,
mom and
but
dad.
Still, not everybody heard it.
There's some explanation why you left and went where you went. I was driving around. Okay, understood you were driving around, but they know where you were driving around. Yeah. And we know. Okay. I had wanted to grab a few things and get my ducks in a row, kind of prepare myself for whatever was coming, but I couldn't find what I was looking for.
In that call, Chris Stearns was grilling his son, Chris's dad, of course, about visiting their storage unit prior to his arrest. As you heard, Stefan's response was suspicious, saying, I was getting my ducks in a row, preparing for whatever was coming. And Dad's like, hey, yeah, we all know where you went. Investigators know where you went. That brings us to our next question. Doesn't he know these calls are recorded? Doesn't everybody now, with all these true crime shows and these podcasts and everything else, calls are recorded from prison, from jail, from everywhere? Let's bring back our guest, still with us, former prosecutor Melba Pearson and YouTube host Gisela K. Gisela, this, I mean, it's astounding how people in these positions still try to put up the good face, and he's talking to mom and dad, and he's being evasive, but still talking and talking and talking and talking. You see it all the time. What about him? What do you notice about what he says, how he says it, and the fact that he just continues to yap when he knows it's over?
Yeah, his dad himself said when Stefan's lips are moving, he's lying. So, I mean, I don't think at that point he's in such a comfort zone lying to his parents. We saw him, lie in all the police video interviews on the...
Because he's been doing it his whole life. In my opinion, he's been lying to his parents for his entire life. In fact, I believe either his mom or dad, both said that he was a compulsive liar. So it is what it is, guys. Miss Charlotte, good to see you tonight. Miss Paula says, I absolutely believe that he is involved in some kind of CSAM ring, or at least, 100%. I'm 100% with you on that, Paula, and I have been since. Truly, I'll be honest with you. When this case first hit, I didn't think about it. When the St. Cloud ring got busted, that's when the switch flipped, and I went, wait a minute, And ever since then, I can't let it go at all. So.
Body cam in the police audio interviews. So imagine how much he's lied to his parents in his life. So there he is, like, oh, hey, when there's a jail call, hey, Dad. And then just saying this was the worst birthday present ever, as if that's the big issue. So I think he's so used to lying and getting away with it. It seems to me like he still thinks he's going to get away with it, which is why he spoke like this. But he absolutely knows he's being recorded.
Yeah, this is the best case scenario, right? For a guy like this, for investigators, for prosecutors.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was a prosecutor, the best thing is when you're able to find that little nugget on the jail calls and being able to use that in your case in chief. So, let's be very clear. When you make a phone call at the jail and you pick up that receiver, it says your call is being recorded. So there is no question that people are informed that they know.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Paula. She says that even his dad said he wondered where are you getting your money from? How do you have money for this and that? Where's it coming from, Stephen? So he was doing something to get money, and I'm with you on that, Paula. It really makes perfect sense to me. It really does. And here's the thing: is he had been broke. Remember, he was broke before he went back to Jennifer's house, and was irritated because he was struggling with money, this, that, everything else. So he goes back there and does his thing. Was he doing this to get more money? Because he was broke. I'm telling you, it makes perfect sense to me. It really does.
That whatever they're saying is going to be recorded. Maybe it's not clicking that recording is actually going to be used as evidence, but they're going to find out the hard way, one way or another. So, I think that these tapes are going to play a very central role in the trial as that moves forward. And it's going to be a bit of insight that the jury will be able to get into his state of mind and how he views life, and obviously how he views this situation, which clearly he's not taking very seriously.
Yeah, and how he views himself in this life, and how he views his ability to lie to others. I think he sees everyone else on the phones, like, well, they're probably not recording my calls, and I'll just talk in code with mom and dad. They'll never know. Well, let's listen to another interesting moment from Stearns' jail call with mom and dad.
Until he's sitting in court during his trial and they play that call back, and absolutely 100% of it is used against him, which is what's going to happen. And I can't wait. 100%, Elizabeth. At least for that. At least. So yes, I agree.
And in this one, he seemingly confirms the accusations that he sexually abused Madeline.
I wish there was a way that, you and I can have a conversation, all of us could have a conversation to understand what's taking place, how this came about, how you arrived here, because it would help us better understand the situation, because we're just rather.
Yeah, is there an echo coming through, Mom, or was it okay?
No, I don't hear an echo.
Okay, good. Yeah, this conversation
Do
here.
y'all hear an echo?
I didn't. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't. But this conversation here where he says what it says, and then he says, yeah, but I didn't start it. He basically admitted to doing what he did right there. That's in a sense admission of guilt. He didn't say I didn't do that. He didn't say I wasn't me. He didn't say I wasn't there. He said I didn't start it. So there you go. Once again.
Lost for understanding how all this came about. I mean, we're just totally baffled. Well, I didn't start it. Oh, you didn't start it, but you participated in it, which is just as bad as not starting it.
I didn't start it, Dad and Mom. It was, it was them. It was Mom and Madeline. I mean,
And what do you think, Mom? What are your thoughts on that statement alone? I know that can go 3 different ways. Okay, I have my thoughts as to what he's meaning by that. But what are your thoughts on it? Just as a guess that he's meaning by this.
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
I think that's his sick way of blaming it on Maddie.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the 3 ways. Yes, I agree. And I it's hard for me to even talk about it that way because that's something that I have a feeling. I wonder if the defense would let him use that as a statement in a testimony. Do you think they would? I don't think they would.
Do what?
Do you think that his defense would allow for him to make a statement like that in a testimony?
I wouldn't be surprised. Y'all know
Like I
I'm not
said-
pro defense attorney. They're snakes.
I know that, but I just can't imagine the court actually allowing that. But again, you never know. But here's the thing. Like I said, 1 of 3 ways is that one right there is the first one that comes to mind. And he's so fucked up that I could see him doing it. 2, that Jen started it and whatever. Or 3, that they're involved in a group of people that started something off. And you know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking. 1 of those 3 things. And I hope he tries to say that in court because they will kill him. He'll be destroyed. That'll be the end of that. So let's see. If he's referring to Jen, yes, exactly, Charlotte. Yeah, they probably would. But if he's referring to Madeline, I don't see them allowing him to put that in. Oh, poor baby, poor baby.
and what is he saying? I didn't start it. What does that mean?
Oh man, that's the question that keeps me up at night. And it's so haunting how he says it, like, I didn't start it. Who are you blaming? Are you blaming the victim? Are you blaming Jen Soto? So it's just, he always shifts the blame. That seems to be his MO across the board with every interview that we've heard of him. But that question bugs me so much. Like, I didn't start it. Oh man, I'm sure it bugs his parents too. That's why they were asking.
And yeah, I mean, that to me is he is not taking responsibility. Melba, it's as if he's saying, well, this young woman was very attracted to me because of my great looks, and Mom was there too, and I didn't start this whole thing. Yet he's got all the porn on his discs from 2020 before he even knew them or was around Madeline. It's disgusting on so many levels. If a jury hears this, oof, what do you think of it?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be messy and disastrous at the end of the day, because the reality is, he is a predator. And predators function off of manipulation and grooming and all of that. So he spent possibly his entire adult life lying and concealing and all of that. So why would that change now? It wouldn't. And it is not unusual for people who are child predators to say, oh no, the child came on to me. They want me. I had no choice. That sort of scenario, which we all know is complete and utter foolishness. But again, this is how they try to justify their behavior by saying, oh, this is a consensual relationship. And they go into this whole mindset, which is completely ignoring the fact that this is a child. A child cannot consent, period, end of story. So, again, this is just part of his mindset to try to justify his actions, which there is no justification.
And trying to prop himself up as being this great guy. It's scary. I'm Ted Rollins, filling in for Vinnie Politan. We're going to keep digging for answers as this investigation continues. Ted Rollins in for Vinny. We continue our investigation on the tragic abuse and murder of Madeline Soto. She had just turned 13 when she was killed, and her body was dumped in the woods. Prosecutors say she was sexually abused for years, abuse that took place in her own home, where she should have felt the most safe. Here's her story. Madeline Soto had just turned 13. She was living with her mom, Jen Soto, and her mom's on and off again boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. In a strange arrangement, Stearns would sometimes sleep with Jen and Madeline, and sometimes with just Madeline alone. Jen says she didn't suspect anything was going on, but when Madeline went missing and was found murdered, detectives told Jen that Stearns had pictures on his phone of Madeline being sexually abused by Stearns. Jen's reaction has raised eyebrows and some suspicion, but she hasn't been charged with anything, while Stearns has been charged with abusing and murdering Madeline and is now facing a potential death sentence. Meanwhile, many questions about what was going on inside that home still have not been answered. Now, since Stephen Stearns' arrest, the public seems pretty certain of his guilt. The video evidence appears highly incriminating, and he was the last person to be seen with Madeline. On the other hand, the public and the media are divided on Madeline's mother, Jen Soto. She's not charged with anything, at least right now. But many people think there is no way that she didn't either suspect or even possibly know that something was going on, since this was happening under her own roof and he was sleeping at times alone with her daughter. Let's watch a bit of her police interview where she pleads her case and her innocence to law enforcement.
When you guys interviewed me and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if
he did this stuff fine? Did you see the detective's head go, what? She's nuts. She's just as bad. And that tells me that she thinks maybe at some point she thought it was normal or it was okay. Welcome, Moon Lover. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. Yes, lies, 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 lies. Oh, this interview pisses me off in 3 different ways, folks. I'm just telling you. 100%.
somebody took her, I still wanted to believe I believed him. I believed his whole story. So I was just like, I kept repeating that part. I'm just like, what if she did get dropped off? What if she got abducted? What if she's missing? But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy. I wanted to think he was a good guy still, but clearly he's not. If I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take.
They find 3,000 images on his phone, and that makes him, you want to still believe he's a good guy. That story's bullshit. I'm sorry. That is a bullshit story. I do not believe it. I never will.
Take a lie detector test, whatever the you want, but I don't know anything. He's never mentioned anything. I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't. I was oblivious to everything. 4 years?
Minimum. That's just how that far back the cloud goes. I find it hard to believe for me that you were so worried about how many pills she took at night, but not where she slept or what relationship she was. His interest in her.
I thought we were all safe. I thought because that he hadn't shown me anything so far, like everything seems fine. Like he seemed like he treated her like
he treats you. In his mind. So now he's in jail because of what we found on his phone, not because somebody came forward and reported that he was abused.
No, I know.
She's not old enough to consent. She's not old enough to have a thought process to even want anything that was happening to her. It's abuse. Where did you take her?
I'm going blank. I have no idea.
The only reason why she's crying, the only reason why she's upset whatsoever with this, folks, in my opinion, of course, is because she thinks she's in trouble at this point. I truly believe that. She had no emotion about any of this the whole time until she has this interview and goes, wait, can I be in trouble for this? Oh my God, no. And again, gets upset. That's the only emotion I've seen from her. Welcome, Cassie. Dash, welcome back. Miss Sherry, welcome to you. Charlotte, there's no proof to that. It's been talked about a lot, but They were talking about a pregnancy test, but I think if that would have happened, there would be a secondary charge, a secondary murder charge, in my opinion. I don't know. Don't quote me. But I think that there would be. Oh, this detective is amazing. This detective is absolutely perfect guy for this.
I feel like you're becoming emotional right now. I feel like you want to tell us.
No, if I knew what to tell you, I would tell you. If I had the truth, I would tell you. I don't know anything.
This is part of a problem. You did so many things and you never questioned it.
I didn't suspect him.
How can we believe some of the stuff that you're telling us, or believe that you don't know?
I don't know how to say it. I mean, I guess I'm stupid and gullible and very trustworthy, but I didn't think he'd be the type to do anything like this. I didn't doubt.
Why Jen Soto denying she had any knowledge of the abuse? What'd you think? Does she seem credible? That brings us to our next question. In this investigation, what did Jen Soto actually know? Was she hiding something from investigators, saying, I don't know anything? Let's bring back our guests. Joining us in Orlando, Florida, investigative reporter for WFTV, Shannon Butler, and former homicide prosecutor and current co-host of True Crime, MTN on YouTube, Melba Pearson. Shannon, you're a resident expert here. What's going on with, is mom cleared here, or is this an ongoing investigation?
Investigators told us very early on in this case that they just didn't believe that she knew what was going on, that they couldn't find any evidence that she knew. And they said very early on to us that she was not going to be charged in this case. Now, things could change if they find something else, but as it stands right now, Jen Soto is not a suspect and is basically cleared when it comes to what happened to her daughter.
You buy that, Melba?
Nope.
Why not?
Because basically, first of all, I think it's the type of scenario where there were signs, and she probably had a gut instinct that something wasn't right, but she turned a blind eye, and she didn't follow that mother's gut instinct saying that her child is in danger, because maybe she wanted the relationship to work, maybe she was lonely, whatever the case may be, but she definitely put aside any concerns that she had, and at the end of the day, she sent her child to sleep with a grown man. Period. End of story. Listen, and she talked about how their intimate life was very vanilla and that he had requested certain things of a sexual nature that she didn't want to do, etc. And knowing all this, you then send your 13-year-old daughter to go sleep in that man's bed.
I agree with SRB. I think this entire interview and all of her statements and all her whiny ass bullshit is all a facade. She's playing stupid, in my opinion. I truly do believe that. Mainly because nobody could be this dumb. Okay? I really don't believe that. And because of other things she has said, this is bullshit, folks. I think she's playing dumb, and I agree wholeheartedly with SRB on that. Truly.
Like, listen, there's no charge for being a crap mom, but she's a crap mom. Period. End of story. Now, could she be charged with child neglect? Possibly. But again, it's a matter of the evidence to be able to substantiate that charge. And I'm not quite sure that it's there. But at the end of the day, she's going to have to live with the fact that she let her child basically be molested under her nose and then end up being murdered.
During her police interview, Jen Soto was pressured about her actions following Stearns' arrest. Jen allegedly told Stearns' father they needed to get him a lawyer. She claimed it was because they had the wrong suspect in her mind, a claim she made already after seeing the photo evidence that Stearns sexually abused Madeline. Watch.
Have you talked to Chris about Stefan needing a lawyer?
Yeah.
When?
I think when you guys showed me the
She sighed twice, and she's sitting there in silence, thinking up an answer how to answer that. Bullshit. She's playing dumb. Molly said if she had no clue, why was she worried about him and her daughter running off? Thank you. Thank you. Good point, Molly. Good point. Very good point. Thank you.
The photos.
So we showed you photos of Stefan raping. And
No.
the first thought you had is to ask his father if he should get a lawyer?
No. I saw a picture. I didn't see the rape. I didn't know she was getting raped until yesterday. I saw the picture of the oral sex happening. And I knew that was true, right? That's evidence. That's for real. That's happening. But I kept thinking, they're going... I don't know why I can't tell you why my brain kept thinking, no, he didn't kill her. Not that he didn't kill her, but she's still missing. She's still out there. She was taken. Yes, he's done this to her, and that's not okay. But I swore she was still, I felt in my body she was still alive. She was still out there. I told Chris to get him a lawyer because I felt like you guys were chasing the wrong person. But you weren't. You're not.
I showed you a picture. The picture you saw, she was giving a to a grown man. And you told his dad to get him a lawyer.
Investigators going hard there. Shannon Butler, what can you tell us about Jen Soto as her past, which, her occupation, et cetera, et cetera?
Both Stefan Stearns and Jen Soto have been a little bit of a mystery as this process has gone along, mostly because the stories didn't always add up. I mean, there's still confusion of whether or not Stefan Stearns ever worked at Disney. Some people say that's where they met him. Disney says he never worked here. The same is true for Jen Soto, because when she does this interview, she talks about how she went to bed because she was starting a new job, but there was some confusion about what these jobs really were. She, according to investigators and to some of the interviews with people she knew,
good point, Mikey.
She really leaned on Stefan Stearns, it seemed, to take care of Madeline Soto. So there's a lot of anger about what kind of mother she was from the public here. They said that she often used drugs. She was on medication. She slept a lot. When you listen to interviews with the roommates and with the family, she just seemed a little bit absent in the care of her daughter. And now, given the situation, I think people would agree that is true. But it's a little bit strange. It's not very clear about what she did. She went to work, we know that. But because the stories are so unclear, we're a little unclear about her.
Yeah, the whole thing is unclear. I mean, her reaction, Melba, with that, she sees that photo, and then when confronted with it, she says, "Oh, we need to get him a lawyer." And then detectives are like, "We just showed you a picture of that happening, oral sex, basically, your daughter." And she's like, "Whoa, I didn't know anything about the rape at that time." I mean, it boggles your mind.
Completely. And again, I mean, there's no license for being a parent, right? There's no guidebook or anything like that. But there are some basic things. Like,
exactly,
number one,
Mike. Exactly.
You don't let your child just sleep anywhere with anyone, right? And yes, you've brought this man into your house, but you still have to watch your child. And at the end of the day, you sent her to go sleep in the bed with him alone. That's just not normal behavior. And that to me does not make sense. And then on top of that, you see a photo and your first instinct is to be like, oh yeah, let's get him a lawyer. Let's continue to protect him. There doesn't seem to be any domestic violence in this situation, because that would be my first gut instinct. Like, oh, is he manipulating her? Something along those lines. But no, she seems perfectly fine. She just seems maybe desperate to have a relationship. You know, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, but it seems to be that desperation to stay in this relationship and just believe that this guy is wonderful when he's clearly not, and the evidence is in your face. So it's just very disturbing all around, and I'm just heartbroken for Madeline, because she deserved way better than this.
Absolutely. What a
And
horrible.
early on in this case,
Yeah.
investigators had told us during those interviews that they felt that she was much more upset about what was happening to Stephen Stearns and what he was facing than she was about the information about her daughter. And it was really, really disturbing for those early investigators in this process to see the reaction on that. And they just, from very early on in this, could not figure it out. I mean, this is your daughter. You know what has happened because of video evidence, not because somebody told you, you saw it. And she was very, very upset about Stephen Stearns, they felt, more than Madeline said.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. We'll get a break. Our guests are going to stay with us as we examine the final question of the hour investigation. It is about.
I think most mothers, most women, learning that situation happened would break down like in a million pieces, because they're going to throw guilt at themselves. Any mother would. How did that happen? How did I not know about that? If they didn't know about it, you know what I'm saying? They're going to break down. They're going to have a complete total breakdown. How did that happen and I didn't see it? How did I not know that? I mean, Mom, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You would
I mean,
totally, in my opinion, you're going to beat yourself up. You know, how is this going on with my child right under my nose and I didn't know anything about it? You're not going to be like, oh no, I'm so upset over the predator that did this to my child, unless you're some kind of detached psycho that handed your child to a predator, in my opinion.
Right. I'm sorry, Charlotte. What was your question? Oh, here's the thing. It was stated that he did work at Disney. Here's my opinion on the Disney thing. I don't think Disney would admit to it. I don't think if he did work there, I don't think they're going to admit to it. Okay. Think about it. They're a billion-dollar corporation that caters to children. Okay. For them to come out and say, yeah, he worked for us. You know how many people that's going to deter from going back there? Truly. Because they're going to wonder how many other people like him did they hire. People think that way sometimes. So they're going to deny it, period. Whether he did or he didn't, they're going to deny it, in my opinion.
And you have to also think that working for Disney does not mean that you actually work for Disney. There's only a handful of maybe 1,000 people that work for Disney. You work for temporary agencies that contract with
Subcontract,
Disney.
right. They subcontract them out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're going to get to that
Disney
part
can
next.
They can legally come out and say, oh, he didn't work for Disney because he worked for Joe and John's staffing service, or, you know, whatever.
And that's probably what
just
they
because
do
I don't want to
too,
call any staffing services by name that are here, because I don't want to falsely, I don't know what's going on with my light. I give up, y'all. I'm in the dark.
No, I know exactly what you're saying is absolutely right. And we're going to look at that next, Charlotte, the poem that he wrote and all that kind of crap. Plunger put that out, and it was really wild to me. I mean, it's disgusting, beyond disgusting. There's some other things too, but so yeah, I agree. Like I said, it was probably a staffing service that Disney used, because they probably go through people left and right. So they can absolutely say, nope, he didn't work for us. He worked for them. They worked for us. You know what I mean? So yeah, and that's going to keep them out of the picture. Oh, I saw him. That's why I said I'm pretty sure he worked there. He had a Disney uniform shirt on. And I seen him stand behind a podium. So I believe he worked there, but Disney's not going to tell them. Disney's not going to admit to that at all because that's going to affect
And
them. So
he worked for a ride that was one of Maddie's most favorite things.
right.
You know, if you were able to grab her TikTok or
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, I think it was her TikTok. I don't know. I've got it screenshotted somewhere. But if you were able to grab that before it got snatched down, that was
Mm-hmm.
one of her very favorite things. Hi, Wisdom. That was one of her very favorite things. And
Right.
he worked for that ride. I mean, you got to think
Mm.
this sick.
Was it the Small World?
He made it. No, it was Fidgeon.
That's it.
I'm
That's it.
probably
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that wrong.
No, I know you're
Fidgeon.
fidgeting.
It looks like a dinosaur, like a
Right.
dragon thing. My kids are all grown, so y'all don't come at me. And I got boys.
Did I answer your question yet, Thomas? Or Charlotte? I'm sorry. As many places in
What's
that
the
house for
question?
Maddie to sleep she needs. Send her bed to this piece of shit. I'm looking. I'm trying to find the question. I thought that's what I just answered
I was
there.
buffering, and so I thought I missed it.
Did I answer that question, Thomas or Charlotte? Oh, the poem. Yeah, I do. We're gonna look at that next, Charlotte. I did answer that question. We're gonna read it in here. Okay. Show you guys. So yes. Once we get through this. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree, Thomas. Absolutely, I agree. Or Charlotte, I keep doing that, but yes, I absolutely agree.
You had me over here looking through chat going, where the hell's Charlotte?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Sorry. Charlotte is Thomas Sharp. But yeah, I absolutely do believe that that could be used as part of a confession, in my opinion. I agree. What's the matter, Mike?
Both of us was over here looking through, scrolling back through chat, looking for Charlotte. I forgot she was under Thomas's name.
No, I had answered that. It just she must not have heard it, and it must have cut out or something. But yeah, we're gonna go over that. And yes, I read it. Sorry. Thank you, Sherry. I think they could if they could prove when it was written. Good point, Paula. And I don't know if I didn't see a date, like a time date or anything like that on it, but
Well, they're going to be able to prove when it was written because they're able to prove when he got the paper.
The poem thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pinpoint that timeline because they're going to look back and say, oh, okay, well, this meeting happened this day at this time. This is where he acquired the paper. Hence, it was written between here and here, which
Well, he
would be
wrote it in
between
jail.
that meeting. Right. And when they searched his cell.
Right.
I don't want to ruin it, Paula, before he shows it for those that don't know.
It's coming up right after this. Don't worry.
Of Jen's current legal situation, what is derivative use immunity? That's what she gets.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, thank you. All right, this is an investigative subpoena.
This case clearly on the national forefront, brutal murder of this young woman, Laken Riley.
Investigators say she was.
If you see my daughter, just please bring her home. I just hope you're okay, Maddie. I hope you're safe. I hope you're not hurt.
See, that's why I think that she even knew that Maddie was dead. I do, because that to me is probably one of the. It just seems really, really false to me. It seems like she's acting. That's again my opinion. So
She's a shitty actor too.
Yes, ma'am.
Just hope she's okay.
That was Jen Soto in an interview with WFTV just days after Madeline disappeared. Since the beginning of this investigation, Jen Soto has spoken a lot about her daughter's death, most of the time during a police interview. But will any of her statements come back to haunt her? Take a listen to this interview that she did on April 18th, 2024, where the detective describes the type of immunity that she's been granted.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is an investigative subpoena, so you've been compelled to be here. And in our country, under the 5th Amendment and 14th Amendment as applied to you under the Florida Constitution as well, you cannot be forced to incriminate yourself. So anything you say today can't and won't be used against you unless you just don't tell us the truth. And I've already explained to your attorney, Mr. Bark, whether or not you've made any inconsistent statements in the past, that is dirt under the bridge, and either a misdemeanor was committed or it wasn't. But we're not going to be using that as a basis of some sort of perjury by false statements, because those other charges wouldn't be perjury anyways. So the most important thing today is to tell the truth. I also explained derivative use immunity, which means if you said that there was a gun, and obviously there's no gun in this case, buried in your attorney's yard, we couldn't go dig up that gun if you told us that, oh yeah, there was the gun that was used is right there. We wouldn't be able to do that. We would have to show that we learned all those things independently from this interview.
That brings us to the final question of the investigation. What exactly is derivative use immunity, and how can Jen Soto use it to her advantage, possibly in this as we move forward? Still with us, investigative reporter Shannon Butler and former homicide prosecutor Melba Pearson. So is she off the hook just because of this immunity, or explain the parameters of it? Melba.
Ooh, sorry, was that? Oh,
Yo,
okay. I wasn't sure. Okay, so the parameters, so derivative use immunity is basically what we used to call, when I was a prosecutor, queen for a day. So you come in, you tell everything that you know, as long as you tell the truth, you're good. Now, in terms of the use of that information, the police now cannot use the information you gave them to then figure out if they can file charges against you. It has to be separate information that they developed during the course of the investigation that showed that you were a person of interest for whatever the case may be. But it can't be tied to the things that you said to law enforcement at the time of your sworn statement. So she can use this to basically clear herself, clear her name, unburden her heart, share everything that she knows so that the officers can go ahead with the investigation and continue to be able to move forward with the prosecution of the defendant as it stands. Now, is she going to tell the truth completely? Is she going to completely unburden herself? That remains to be seen. But legally, she's protected for what she says during that time period to law enforcement.
Sharon Butler, has she given them anything of value? Has she contributed to this investigation at all?
Not really. I mean, she seemed to be pretty clueless about what's going on. I know the public doesn't believe that. Melba certainly doesn't believe that. People do not believe that she was that clueless, but that's what they said they found during this investigation. So there wasn't really anything. There was no reason really not to give her this, because she wasn't providing them anything anyway. And I think their theory is later on, if we find something, it doesn't count in what we did here. And so they needed to get her statements. They were trying to, get as much as they could on him. And they just didn't think that there was anything they could get her on. So they didn't make her a suspect, and they didn't need those statements. So this is why she is where she is right now.
Melba, one of two things here with this woman. Either she is just really out to lunch on many levels, or she did know something, and she's being uncooperative. And if you look at the different elements that have come forward, when she was shown that photo, her reaction was, Stefan needs a lawyer, not let's kill that SOB because of what he's done to my daughter. I can't believe this, what you're showing me. There was none of that. And again, It could be one of the other. To Shannon's point, they think that she's just didn't pick up on anything. Is that plausible from your standpoint, being a former prosecutor?
Listen, nothing's impossible. But at the end of the day, you notice signs about your child. If your child is being molested, there's going to be a change in their behavior. They're going to be acting possibly in a more sexualized manner. They may be withdrawn. They may be angry. You know, there's certain indicators there that there's a problem. So normally that would be your trigger to be like, wait a minute, let me inquire more and make sure my child is okay. But I still come back to the fact that she sent her 13-year-old daughter to sleep with a grown man.
Shannon, she was under, she was under
Absolutely
medication, was she not? She was taking meds?
Yeah, she was pretty clear in her interviews that she did take meds to help her go
blaming
to
the
sleep. And then investigators had told us there was some other substances along the way. So I guess that's part of the theory here, that that's what was happening most of the time. But I know what people think. And I take a lot of criticism when we report this story about questioning how she didn't know. I mean, most of us are parents, right? How she didn't know, how come she didn't see any signs. I take so much criticism over that, but that's what investigators say, and that's what we're sticking to.
And hey, boy, I feel bad for her if indeed that is the truth, because she's lost her daughter, and she probably feels horribly guilty.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, chick.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Why do you look like a ghost?
I don't know. It's my background and the lighting is really a bad combo, so I'll keep it short.
Okay.
When the mother said, which we've all heard before, but again, I heard it tonight, you know, that if she was aware about the other thing with her daughter and him, keep it vague. But she had no idea that he would go this far to do something else, you know, allegedly. And the nonchalant way the mom said that was really icky.
Wait, repeat that last part before the nonchalant thing, chick. Say it again.
Oh, the part where she said, you know, if he did this with her, you know, the S part, you know, okay.
Yeah.
But if he did anything else, she'd be like shocked.
Yes. That was, icky's a good word. I'll
Yeah,
say that.
icky, that part. And I
Take that.
have to go now. I'm sorry.
Take
I'm
that
thinking
part
we
and
didn't-
add it to the whole Woody Allen thing and mix that in a blender and see what you get. Okay?
Something
That's
like
my opinion.
Have a good night, you guys. I'll be here in the background.
Okay, thank you, hon. I appreciate your input. I really do. What do you
Thanks
think,
for
Mom?
coming up. I think she's right. It was
Yeah.
very icky. And it's very telling, too. Oh, you know, I'm really not surprised, but there's no way he hurt her. You know?
Bullshit.
It's not really that bad. You know?
That's
Just
kind
my
of how she was
child.
acting,
Just my
too. It's not
daughter.
that big of a deal. Get him an attorney. You got the wrong guy.
Let's get him an
I mean-
attorney, because he's such a great guy, and he needs me. Fuck
Yeah.
her.
No. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. And please don't ever, ever, ever do that, whatever voice you just did, because that is definitely not who you is at all. That was creepy weird. Creepy weird. Sorry.
I listened to too many interrogations, is what it is, and like the people's their voice gets stuck in my head. It's like Sarah Boone.
Yeah. Yep. And yes, again, chick, yes, I agree. Sherry says she's a lion damn incubator. That's all she is. She truly is.
Facts.
You know, I'd like to do, and I tried, but I couldn't get much. I'd like to do a background on Jen Soto and just look into who Jen was before, well, throughout her whole life. I'm curious. I really am at this point. I'm really curious as to who she really is, because I'm wondering if there's some weird shit in her past like this, possibly. And
well, I can tell you she was a party girl and a college party girl type personality.
And she's a hoe. We know that because she bounced around. So yes. The other side of this too is she obviously there was no kind of intimate relationship with him, truly. And you're sending him to go sleep in bed with your daughter. You didn't wonder why there was nothing. I mean, I just no. That's what I'm saying. She has to know.
His underwear in her laundry basket.
Yeah, thank you. No, Jen wasn't on Nickelodeon. I see Cap. Was she on there too? Who knows? She could have
No,
been.
Cap.
If she's a Florida person.
Hell, she might have been. My old man was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, from my understanding, a lot of kids that live down in Florida, it was pretty easy to get on there. So
Oh, he got slimed.
you know what you did, or don't do that on television,
Mm-hmm.
or you can't do that on television. I think it's called.
Yeah, something like that.
Gotcha. All right, let me get to this other part now. 1 second. Hold on.
Elizabeth, nobody with any kind of parenting skills sends your teenage daughter to sleep with your boyfriend, your live-in fuck buddy, non-fuck buddy. In my opinion, that's not like a dad. That's not like, a kid is sick and, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to go because I did it. I'll be the first one to tell you. The last time I crawled in bed with my mama, I was 25 years old and I thought I was dying of pneumonia. And I went right in there and crawled in bed with my mama. But that's different. Thank you, Far. Far is a rock star.
Different.
She gifted 5 memberships.
Yes, I've seen that. I can tell who got them now. It looks like Andorra the Crofty, Amy O 24, Peggy 126, Angela Sefried, and Christina all got memberships. Thank you so much, Far. God bless. Appreciate your generosity so very much. And welcome to all of you to the sauce. We got 6 new meatballs tonight. That is awesome. And I do appreciate you so much, Far. God bless. Woo-hoo-hoo. Hell yes. Jen, the cheerleader. Jen, the homecoming queen. Jen, class president. Jen, master debate team captain. Right. Yeah. Jen, the idiot, is who that is. Good evening, Jane. Good to see you. Justice Jane, thank you for joining us. And again, thank you for joining us tonight, Far, too. Appreciate that so very much. Yeah. This is all a bunch of doo-doo. He's full of shit. I don't care who believes that I have not seen one person truly take up for her. Not one. On anything. In the channels I've the different shows that have been on, attorneys, doctors, most everybody has said she's full of shit. So there again.
Because she is full of shit.
Uh-huh.
You could tell within the first 3 interviews she was full of shit.
Hell, the interviews that they did together on TV, you could tell there was something wrong there. He's sitting there fake boohooing.
And you got to, if like I said, and I know I've said this before when we were talking about Maddie last time, watch the Telemundo. Get somebody to translate that for you. Just her demeanor alone. Doesn't matter if you see it. She's full of shit.
Yes. With a capital S. Welcome, Miss Sarah Maddie. Good to see you tonight, dear. Thank you for being here tonight, Sarah. We appreciate you very much. Great to have you here. Dr. Phil's opinion? No. I think Phil. Oh God, can you put him and her on a stage together and see what he would do to her? I would love to watch that. I love welcoming you, Far, so I'm glad you enjoy it. Yeah, he looked guilty. They both did then. They both did. I think they were both petrified of getting caught, truly, at that point. So we're going to go to this next part that was supposedly this was written by him in jail This makes me sick to my stomach, but I'm going to show it anyway. Plunder put this out. So I want to make sure, one second, that everybody has and knows who Plunder is. There is her link, guys. Check her out. She's done a lot with this case as well, just as much as Gazella did. There's another channel. They all do a lot in this case, so I'm just saying. Now I have this one, and I have one other thing we're going to cover a review too with this. So hold on. One moment. All right, 1 minute here. Let's get to this part here.
Gone over that before, you know, when the YouTuber The Docket and I and Gray Hughes went in and we purchased certain evidence, and one of the photos was this poem, and we didn't know who wrote it, but we inferred it was probably Stearns. Now we know it is. Previously, we also saw this note on Monday, July 29th, around 7:05 p.m. There was a note added to Stephen Stearns' jail notes, to his jail notes file. It said, informational. While conducting cell searches, a letter was found and given to zone supervisor. Be careful when doing cell searches. Inmate had yellow papers. We didn't know. We were like, what? First of all, they didn't call it a poem in that particular blurb, and they said a letter was found. They called it a letter. Be careful when doing cell searches. Inmate had yellow papers. So it was kind of like, what does that mean? Like yellow legal papers? Well, we now have plenty more details about Stearns, where he got the paper, where he hid the poem, and everything. We have more details about this incident involving Stearns from 2:50 p.m. that day, July 29th. Apparently that's when they found it. Thanks to the YouTuber I was watching, allegedly speculating, I have linked to her below. It's because of her I saw these images and more details about the notes, and I put in a FOIA. I keep checking it. They haven't uploaded that PDF to me yet, so I'm going to read you what was sent to allegedly speculating. And you can also go over to her YouTube video where she goes over a lot more about the entire file that she's going over. Well, it's this incident report from the Corrections Department. The date of the incident was July 29th. It was 2:50 p.m. I always like to see what day it was, just for informational purposes. So that was a Monday, July 29th. So at that point, Stearns had been in there quite a while. We know Madeline Soto went missing February 26th. So March, April, May, June, July. 5 months later, they find this poem. We don't know the exact date he wrote it, but Stearns tried to hide it in a Bible. This is what the narrative says. On the above date and approximate time, I was assigned as the C-Pod Housing Unit Officer. At approximately 2:50 p.m., I was conducting random cell searches in Charlie Pod. While searching the cell of inmate Stephen Stearns, 1419688, Charlie Isolation Cell Number 2, I noticed some yellow pieces of notebook paper. Now, to me, it's a good thing this officer, God bless him, that they noticed it at all. To me, it does not look yellow. These papers, maybe off-white, I would say, but that's what confused me because it didn't look yellow to me. But it says, this caught my attention because yellow paper is not common in our facility. After finishing the search of the cell, I asked another officer to confirm the presence of the yellow paper, and he also found it unusual. Just as we we were about to wrap up, Corporal Dinko entered the pod. I inquired with her about whether yellow paper was permitted. She wasn't certain and asked to see the papers in question. I then requested inmate Stearns to hand over the papers, which he did. I asked the inmate how he obtained the yellow paper, to which he stated that his attorney had provided him with a few blank yellow papers on a prior date. So we've gone over that video before. I'll link to it below, all about Stephen Stearns' attorney and my communications with her and everything. One of the papers turned out to be a handwritten poem labeled for blank, and we know that's for Maddie. I showed this note to Corporal Dinko. That concludes what I was involved in during this incident. Now, in the section titled Supervisor's Review / Action, it says, after closely examining the handwritten note, I noticed a few lines that concerned me. So we know the lines. We'll read the poem to let you guys know if you don't remember what the poem stated. We'll talk about those lines. I noticed a few lines that concerned me. I immediately reached out to Counselor Mendoza from Mental Health Services. Mendoza has been involved with inmate Stearns since he was first brought in because of his high-profile case. After reviewing the note, she agreed with my assessment that it needed to be reported. Counselor Mendoza then evaluated inmate Stearns to determine if he needed additional mental health support. After her evaluation, she concluded that he could stay in his assigned cell without any additional restrictions. Photos were taken of the note and uploaded to the appropriate drive. Due to some concerning content within the poem, it was handed over to Kissimmee Police Department Detective Morris, and a chain of custody form was completed. The report is forwarded to the watch commander and DRL for review. Now we've got other snippets here too that let us know where Stearns had tucked this poem. An additional narrative says, on the above date and approximate time, while assigned as the C-Pod Housing Unit officer, I was conducting random cell searches in C-Pod. It says again, during this time, I searched the cell of inmate Stearns, Stefan 141-9688, who is currently housed alone in Charlie Isolation Cell number 2. I started searching the cell carefully, beginning with the table immediately to the right. I went through the books on that table and then checked a stack of books on the floor nearby. Among those books, I found a county-issued Bible with some yellow notebook papers inside it. The yellow paper stood out to me because it isn't commonly found in our facility. After finishing the search of the entire cell, I asked Officer Richards to verify the...
Yeah, actually, I'm going to have to get back to this. As I was pulling the documents from Patreon, from Gisela, I was getting documents that way, and I haven't been able to recently, so I'm going to have to get back to that so I can get the documents and have them for myself. Because I understand, like what Sherry said there, that she's got it all. So yes, 100%.
The yellow paper, and he also found it unusual, noting that its contents were strange as well. As we were about to conclude, Corporal Dinko entered the pod to conduct her supervisor rounds. She approached us and began speaking with the inmate as part of a wellness check. So we see Stearns had a county-issued Bible in his cell, and that's where he tucked this note for Maddie, like a confession of his sins or something he was praying over. I have so many thoughts about this. First of all, we talked before on one of Stearns's intake forms or something for jail, he did write down that he's a Christian. I hope it's true. That's his only hope left. Jesus, right there. Even though when he was out in the world and he was on Reddit, he had some post, he had something to say about religion. So I found it funny that he was a Christian now, but it makes sense. He has a county issued Bible. Like, for example, I just visited my county jail this morning. I'm in the prison ministry. Wonderful. We give them Bibles. Well, they let our church, they used to let us bring in Bibles more easily. Now we kind of have to put it in their property. It's a little bit different of a process. But what stands out to me is any person, you probably do this too, maybe if you're a Christian, you might tuck important things in your Bible. I pulled out this old Bible. I think this was my mom's Bible. Wow. From December 23rd, 1975. Old. But I will, tuck things, notes. You can see stuff lying around. I do that too. Like, if you're praying over something, or if you happen to be praying over a specific person or situation or something, it's not something I tend to do. I don't want to get misconstrued, but I tend to tuck things in the Bible. Notably, Stearns tucked his For Maddie poem in the Bible, not in any of one of those other books that he wanted his parents to send to him, almost like it was a eulogy or some kind of sick poem. We're going to read it. I want to see. There's a bunch of repeated information. Okay, here it is. Corporal Dinko entered the pod to conduct her supervisor rounds. She approached us and began speaking with the inmate as part of a wellness check. Officer Richards then asked the inmate about the note on the floor, and the inmate replied that it was a poem he had written, so he admits to writing this poem. Stearns does. He was then secured back inside the cell, and as we walked away, I asked Corporal Dinko if yellow paper was allowed, but she was unsure and requested to see the papers. I asked inmate Stearns to hand over the papers, which he did, and that's when he said his attorney had given him a few blank yellow sheets on a previous visit. And that's when they're like, this poem is weird, and I'm glad they handed it over to the police, as they should, because my deal is, to me, it's like a confession. We've gone over this before, but this property and evidence chain of custody form says handwritten note, and it signs off who it was given to, handed over to the detective. Now it looks similar. There was a couple of screenshots that allegedly speculating has published. It looks like a 6-page report here, but we see the for and the Maddie part is, redacted. We see the heart, and I was comparing them. I just went through a comparison to make sure it was the same poem. I'm doing side by side here. The jail must have taken a photo, but then when the cops got it, they took an even better photo of it. And again, it says always, and it's underlined, and you can tell Stearns really took his time in writing this poem. A poem that he sat there and maybe stewed over and thought up in his head and practiced and wrote wrote to the point where there's no mistakes. I don't know how much paper, his lawyer gave him, just a few sheets. That's another whole thing we talked about today. Even some jails aren't even letting us prison ministry, correctional facility workers, ministry people come in there. We can't even give some people paper because you don't want any illicit substances appearing on the paper, which of course we wouldn't bring in there, but this is happening in jails, I guess, across the country or what have you. And if there's a substance on the paper and they're rolling it up and trying to smoke it, and some people are losing their lives, not that people would care about Stearns losing his life, but we do want to see Maddie get her justice, whether this man will plead guilty or not. This almost reads like a confession to me. Once again, going over this poem for Maddie, Stearns wrote always and underlined it, capital A, your hair was like honey. This is the part that grosses me out. He starts off talking about her physical attributes, I guess compliment.
Yeah, hang on, folks, because I know I got to do this for my damn self, so some others might need
Trigger
it too.
warning. Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out.
Just be prepared, you guys, because this made me like sick to my stomach, literally nauseous hearing this, knowing that he wrote it. So, welcome, James. Good to see you tonight, sir.
Her physical attributes, and it's like sickening knowing the charges, these CSAM charges he's facing, and it's sickening to think of it in that regard. He's writing this towards a girl who's, she was in his care, but he took advantage of that. He didn't treat her like a beautiful little daughter, like that one great cop who confronted Jennifer Soto, Maddie's mom, said he treated her like he treats you. And that's when Jennifer kind of goes, oh my goodness. But it says always, your hair was like honey with eyes stormy blue. So he's complimenting her hair and her eyes. Gone far too soon. I will always miss you. This is pretty rudimentary, but I do notice that Stearns is intelligent. That doesn't mean he's not evil. I'm not like complimenting this man's wit and charm or anything like that, but it does show you there's no misspellings. Everything's like the proper tense. I don't know if you're technically supposed to put commas after every line in a poem like that, but he did. But there's no mistakes. He's calling her hair honey, her eyes stormy blue, gone far too soon. I will always miss you. Of course he thinks she's gone far too soon. Why is she gone? And what happened that fatal night to kill her? If Stearns is thinking she's gone far too
See, and that's something that like a high school kid would write, in my opinion. Gone far too soon. It doesn't sound like something an adult would say towards somebody. This is, again, just my opinion. This is how I'm seeing this. But to do this, after sitting in prison for what he's sitting in prison for, or sitting in jail for, I'm sorry, and then to do this is just like super ballsy as far as I'm concerned. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean to.
too soon. Obviously, maybe he didn't want her gone. Maybe there was some situation that he felt or whomever felt necessitated Maddie's life being taken. There's that interesting interview with Chris and Deborah Stearns on Hidden True Crime, where Deborah Stearns makes an interesting comment talking about when she spoke with Stefan, and I still want to hear like this jail phone call or whatever, where Stearns reportedly said he went off, I guess, to blow off some steam, and when he came back, Maddie was gone. We didn't get a lot of details about what she meant, but is that what Stearns was telling her, telling his mom, like something happened and he just went off to blow off steam? That sounds like someone who needs to let go of anger. What incident happened? Why did he have to blow off steam? Or again, is it all another fantabulous lie that Stearns is making up again just to make himself look like Mr. Innocent? Like, oh, I just went off to blow off steam. I went for a walk or whatever he told his mom. I came back and Maddie was gone. We know people who are criminals, they can make up a whole bunch of stuff to make themselves look so innocent. Back to the poem. Your smile was a treasure. Your laughter filled the room. This world is not the same. I will always miss you. So he's going from the look of her hair, like honey, because, he was the one dirty blonde, and blue eyes. We know Jennifer immediately said Maddie's eyes were blue. She told the cops, gone far too soon. I will always miss you. Your smile was a treasure. It's just sickening thinking of this coming from him. Like any other person who's complimenting a beautiful young girl like Maddie, yeah, it's lovely to say your smile was a treasure. And to say your laughter filled the room. I can imagine her laughter. I don't know if I've even heard much of Maddie's voice beyond that short little Snapchat snippet where she goes, you can tell.
You can tell.
But how often did Maddie's laughter fill the room in the presence of her abuser? This world is not the same. I will always miss you. I loved you so much. I would have died for you with no end to my tears. I will always miss you. Ugh, it just gets frustrating reading this. First of all, he did not love her. Stearns might be equating his emotions and his actions and his feelings, and maybe he thought they were in a relationship or whatever this twisted man's mind thought about Maddie, but that isn't love. That is not the definition of love. The definition of love and care, especially for children, is to just train them up in the Lord, and when they're older, they won't depart from it. We train them up in the way they should go. Maddie should not have gone the way Stearns forced her to go. I mean, if you read some of those charges, like I try and stay away from these traumatic details, and there's no way I don't think I could handle this trial. I believe only the jury might see certain things, but just the things he was encouraging her or forcing her to do, not only as a little young girl trying to watch cartoons, but also I was reading certain parts where it's like he's making her like dance for him or pose for him or whatever. And I was just you just to envision these things. When a little girl who's loved, you imagine things like, oh my goodness, you see your daughter, if she has an aptitude to be an artist or a great gymnast or an Olympic athlete, a great swimmer, whatever, you support that. You do what you can to buy art supplies, to drive them to and from school, make sure they have great snacks. Like, that's love, not whatever he's talking about. And then he's like putting himself in the place of Jesus to me, like this Jesus complex. I would have died for you. Like, no, greater love has no man than this, than one who lays down his life for his friends. Okay, that's Jesus Christ. That's not Stearns. Stearns is like, I don't know, big upping himself, martyring himself. I would have died for you, Maddie. No, this is just talk. These are just dramatic words. In real life, Stearns did not die for Maddie. In real life, Maddie died. We don't know all the particulars yet, but that's what happened. With no end to my tears, I will always miss you, as if it's a sympathy bid with no end to my tears. Now, this is the most damning part. No wonder, thank God, these jail workers, employees found this poem and, knew it was important enough to hand over to cops. Very astute. I mean, I'm sure they have so many cells to check, so much property to go through, so much contraband to try and find, but these sharp-eyed employees down in Florida noticed, wait a minute, that yellow paper is different. What's going on there? And I do remember somewhere in all these notes, I've got a link to the other video I did quite a while ago. I feel like I remember Stearns saying something about wanting paper or something for something. I thought he wanted paper to get a note to someone else, to pass along a note. He was asking his mental health expert if he could have paper for some reason to pass along a note to someone, if I'm not mistaken. I know there was something about him wanting a special request of paper, and that mental health expert did say, well, I'll have to talk to the attorney about this, making sure they're doing everything on the up and up. So I'm assuming, obviously, that message got passed along to the attorney, and maybe that's when the attorney, Elizabeth, brought Stearns a few pieces of blank notebook paper. So this final stanza, this coup de grace, he ends it with something so controversial. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I will always miss you. That's the part we all found really strange before. He's putting himself there. Stearns is putting himself perhaps at the scene of the crime or immediately afterwards. But he's saying, this is for Maddie. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. So it's like he's saying, my heart died when you died. Now, we know Maddie's cause of death involved strangulation, involved damage to her hyoid bone. And he's talking about holding her in his arms and his heart dying with her as she died. So any jury can look at this and say, okay, Stearns, you are literally writing a confession. And where do we put confessions sometimes? A lot of times we tuck them in our heart or we whisper them to God. He tucked it in a Bible, a sacred text. Maybe it means something to him now. I don't know. And as he says, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I will always miss you. He ends it with a heart. Maybe he's looking for some type of absolution. Maybe that's why he put it in the Bible. I'm glad they confiscated it. I hope Stearns is opening that Bible, just like I told the women I looked at today in those orange jumpsuits and those flip-flops, some with socks, some not, giving them Bibles when I can, giving them the word of God. That's the only hope. So
yeah, that is absolutely a confession. And if they don't see it for what it is, they're insane. Welcome back, Chick Bait. What can I do for you?
I'm just want to echo, not echo, but respond to that part of the broadcast. Where he's not saying those words because he's loving and he cares. He wants to come across that way, but it's kind of sketchy because he's not the biological dad, right?
Of course, he's putting it out there to make people believe that he didn't do something wrong. That's why.
And that's really kind of creepy, if you ask me.
That's why I think he wrote the whole thing. I know he wrote it in jail. I think he wrote it on purpose, knowing that they would find it at some point, so that he could try to look like the martyr. Mister, I'm her stepdaddy, even though you're not, and I loved her. I could never do this, but it's bullshit.
No, I'm not doubting he wrote it. I mean, it sounds as bad as somebody who actually wrote it himself. But it doesn't discount the fact that it's very weird.
Well,
and it's very strange, to say the least. And if you've ever grown up around a dysfunctional family that hides stuff like that, they all talk the same way. They're the best people. They all have the best words, in jail or not in jail.
Mm-hmm.
They're the most caring, oh, I miss them so much, people. And that's my point, Then you have like the real grieving and the real loss that can be all over the map. But usually it's not like the mother discounting what happened. Usually it's very heart-wrenching and they can barely talk, barely breathe, in most cases.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Personalities aside, I mean, there's a range of reactions, but you can tell the truth from the BS.
Absolutely. Yeah, I personally, like I said, guys, I think that he wrote this on purpose. knowing that they're going to go through his shit. They're going to look for stuff. They're going to find it. And it's going to make me look like a good guy. It's going to make me look innocent. Like I could never do this. And nobody would think like you. This guy's kind of stupid, in my opinion, too, by the way, you guys. He really is.
I know, I agree. I agree he's stupid.
Yeah, he's really, the decisions he made, the things he did with this whole story, it tells you how stupid this guy really kind of is. So, sadly enough as it is, thank God he is, because, if this would have been anybody with any kind of intelligence, any kind of intellect whatsoever, we may not have ever found Maddie. We may not have ever known what we know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad he is the dumb idiot that he is. So thank you for your input. Again, I appreciate it very much.
I'm just trying to fix my background, and I don't know how to use this app to fix it now. Like my background.
You just have to go to none. If you're on StreamYard, you go into settings and you'll go under where it says background.
Yeah.
And hold on. Where it says virtual background, and then there's a little box there that says none.
Okay, now it's just my light bulb. That's better.
Now I can see you. It is a little bit of a glare, but I can still see you. There you go.
Well, I'm trying.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Thank you, Sherry. All right, onward we go.
If Stearns is truly no longer playing games and lying to his parents and speaking with his little mealy mouth, Mickey Mouse voice, trying to garner sympathy, if he's really ready to lay it all down, lay it at the foot of the cross, maybe he'll look up and see the verse that says, confess your sins to one another. There's so much in the Bible about confession. So maybe this is a hint. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe this could be, I pray in Jesus for Stearns to just confess, stop playing games, just tell the truth about what he did to Maddie. Tell the truth about what happened that night. Tell the truth about what Jennifer knew, what she didn't know. Just tell the truth. Spare this family the entire trial. A gross, let's just say a gross trial. I just saw a story and read a headline about a jury member who literally fainted after seeing autopsy photos. Sometimes I feel like I would just get sick seeing some of the stuff they see. It's sad enough in Abby and Libby's case, the photo that leaked, it's horrible. It's like the stuff you don't even want to talk about. You hate that it happened, and you hate that it's online now. Hopefully, this entire family can be spared a trial if Stearns would just confess.
Okay. So we got through the letter, and like I said, yes, I wholeheartedly take that as a confession, for sure. So,
Yeah.
and I hope that they see that for what it is as well. I truly do.
Also, good to see you, Mind of Monsters.
Good to see you too. My light keeps going out, so I turned my mouse.
I just turned my camera so my light
turned it
bulb
off.
on my head.
Sarcleus 1, I think it is. If that's correct. Yes. Ask me a question. Ask me a question, and I will give you an answer. So let's see, and then while we're setting that up, I got a new sub tonight. Who would that be, Miss Taylor? And I'm glad I did. Thank you for that. If it was you helping, very much appreciated. Appreciated. I'm sorry. Easy, Phil. Don't hurt yourself, Phil. What do you think of the letter, Mom? Or the poem, or whatever the hell it is?
I think it's a sick, disgusting thing for that sick piece of shit to write, and I honestly 110% believe it's a confession.
Yeah.
And I think that he thinks that he's smarter than everybody else, just with the type of personality he has. And he thought, oh, well, they won't look in the Bible. They won't think that it's a confession. It's just my heart's way of saying, I miss you. Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, he's an idiot. And he is one of those people that thinks he's smarter than everybody else. And in all reality, he's completely stupid. So, what am I looking at, Molly?
I just feel like I just saw a documentary about criminal profiling. Sorry.
Say that.
I just saw a documentary on criminal profiling. I think her name was Ann Burgess or Ann Burgess.
Okay.
It was very interesting because I was trying to correlate profiling in a number of ways for a long time. And she had worked with the Menendez brothers case.
Okay.
And I tried to apply to like Idaho 4 and things like that, you know, Summer Wells, whatever. And trying to like layer the information on top of the information that I have, if that makes sense, like research.
Of course. Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I really need to go back to square one. So I've been just reading a lot lately. And this kind of guy strikes me as somebody who thought he had his act together from day one, saw the situation, took advantage of it, the mom and the daughter.
A predator. That's what they do. Yeah.
And he took his time.
That's about the only part of anything that he has the intelligence to do is because
Which was the most disgusting part of it, was taking his time.
Yeah, because that's what these predators do.
Yeah.
And truly, I have to believe at this point in this venture that he wasn't interested in Jen. He didn't get together with Jen to be with Jen. You know, it could have been something at the first until he realized that Jen had a daughter. And that's
It was all about winning, being in control over the situation.
Right. Now, let me rephrase that. Now, that could have been
Allegedly.
Yes. It could have been that, yeah, he was interested in Jen at some point because she was probably immature. He's very immature. And that's why they connected. They got along. And then he realized, because I'm still going to go, I'm going to go along with him with this whole I didn't start it comment because I want to know who started it.
Like, I don't want to say the wrong thing about the mother being like maybe influential, lower IQ or something.
Oh, I will.
But that will come across as a sociopath who has a higher IQ can use that against her and make her feel like she's in control.
Yeah, of course. And I think that Jen is much more manipulative than people give her credit for. I don't think she's as stupid as she's pretending, or people believe that she's just naive. She's not smart. And that's why this is all happening. I think that is a 100% act.
No, Dago, I think that's what's gotten her by for years, you know?
Right. And I think she's done it with her dad, her grandfather, her mom, you know, playing the dumb card. You know, I don't know. Grandpa, please, can I live here? I don't have the money for rent this month. Give me a break, please.
Very manipulative, but not so great.
Yeah, that is 100% what I think. And
no emotional intelligence, just survival mode. In my opinion, she doesn't care about other people.
Of course not. No, she's a narcissist, and in its best fashion, that's what she is. All about herself and anything in any way that. Well, here's a perfect example of how you know she's a narcissist. She did not care about her daughter enough to not allow her to go sleep with her boyfriend. She cared more about her getting a good night's sleep than anything else. She did not get along with Maddie. We all know that. That was talked about in the very beginning of the case, that they did not get along. They did not like each other. And I, in some senses, and people may disagree with me, but I, in some senses, feel like Jen may have been jealous of her daughter.
I think in some ways the mom was grooming her daughter.
Very possible.
As a way to lure a man to the house.
Very possible as well.
Her emotional IQ is so low. She doesn't care what happened to the daughter, in my opinion.
Yes. I'm right there with you.
However, she did see it as a way out of being alone and a single mom.
And didn't have to do anything. She left him to be the one to take care of Madeline.
And then she rationalized and justified what he was doing with her daughter.
That makes sense. What do you think, Mom?
I think she knew exactly what she was doing. I don't think she has any kind of a low IQ or anything like that. In my opinion, I believe that she was a spoilt little brat that got her way. for her whole life. I believe he's the same way. I believe he was a spoilt little brat that got his way his whole life. And everybody just turned their head because poor, pitiful Jen, let's take care of her. Let's give her, you know, I don't even remember how much it's worth, freaking some ungodly amount of money condo to live in.
Yep.
And
The only way
it's all okay.
The only way a person like that can twist their family's arm is if they have something on somebody else in the family, in my opinion. No
Yeah.
one's going to bail out a Jen in the family.
Well, or you put on the stupid or feel bad for me act and play that game your whole life, and which is why she was the spoiled little asshole that she was. And that's what she played. Same way that this little bitch that he is, played against his parents. Woe is me, mommy. I'm dumb, Steven. I can't do this. I need that. Please do this for me. Please do that for me. He's a waste of oxygen. They both are.
I just feel like they both need at least life behind bars, you know, and that includes the mother. There is no separation, in my opinion.
I truly would prefer to. I don't typically add this to most cases, but in this sense, I prefer for him to die. I think he needs the death penalty. Jen, I think Jen should sit behind bars for the rest of her life. And think about what she did to her child, what she allowed in her life, the type of person that she is. And she can sit and stew on that and hopefully get her ass beat every now and again, too.
Well, I agree, because whatever is the worst form of punishment that really gets to her, gets to him, you know, that's going to be the right outcome. You know, she let a monster into the situation, but she was the monster to begin with.
Absolutely. She created both. She created herself and she created him. And I'm not saying she created him in general. I'm saying she created him in her life.
No, she let him in.
Yeah, of course. She was spoiled and manipulative, and she knew exactly. Yes, Miss Sherry, I agree. I said it once. Damn it. Sarklius, the fact she sent her daughter to sleep in the same room with her boyfriend alone. Yeah, it's beyond disgusting. But there again, guys, that shows her selfishness. That shows the narcissism in her and how self-centered she is. I needed a good night's sleep, so I sent her to go sleep with him. No, you don't. When you become a mother, that's all that your life is. Same as if you become a father. I don't care if you slept an hour. You're going to sleep an hour because you're going to take care of your child because that's priority in life.
It's your kid. If you slept with your own kid, that's a little bit different.
Right.
But you don't let your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever friend come in there and be like, oh, sleep with them.
No. Nope.
That is
no,
freaking
especially
weird.
not at that age. Not at that age. Now, here's the thing.
She already said it was okay, right, in that video.
Oh yeah, she did, absolutely. If they were boyfriend and girlfriend, her and Stefan, okay, and Maddie was a baby, and he put her to sleep and laid her next to him in the bed, that's a different story, okay?
Oh yeah, I agree, because he'd be like, "Hey, she fell asleep."
Not with him. I wouldn't trust him with a dog. I wouldn't trust him with. But I'm just saying, in general life, okay, that situation is normal. It happens.
Yeah, there you go. If a boyfriend, girlfriend came over and held your baby and they fell asleep, right? Totally normal, and you'd be like, "Oh, I'll take them from you."
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Just like here for my granddaughter, for instance, okay? Juniper's 7. She just turned 8, sorry. Junie laid in bed with me multiple times. I put her to sleep, so on and so forth. She would crawl up in bed between me and Brandy sometimes when she was 3, 4. Now, occasionally she will still fall asleep in the bed with Brandy. They'd be upstairs in the bedroom watching TV. They fall asleep. Guess who sleeps on the couch that night?
You do.
That's right, because it's wrong to do that. Granddaughter, no granddaughter. I don't care. I just know when she hit a certain age.
My first job was babysitting. I had strangers' kids falling asleep on me since I was 12.
Right. So yeah. And that, like I said, that's my granddaughter. And I still don't know. After she hit a certain age, that was enough. End of story. So
no, you have to teach them, like, this is your bed, this is your pillow. Basics.
Amen. Absolutely. So yeah.
And I have to go sleep somewhere else. This is your space.
That's absolutely it. And of course, I'm not going to move my granddaughter and put her on the couch and go sleep in the bed. That just doesn't work that way. So
No, but even though like they're weird and they're cute and they're young, and they'll be like, "Oh, please stay," you're like, "No, you have to teach them no."
Yes, of course. And like I said, I mean, I've laid in the bed, me, Junie, Brandy, watching TV, just sitting, you know what I mean, watching a movie or
No,
something like
I
that.
think every family or extended family and friends of people really close have done this.
Yes, but there's
But you
a
always find the parent of the child, and you're like, "It's yours."
yeah, or like I said, because my granddaughter spends nights here forever and ever. Like I said, she falls asleep in the bed. I sleep on the couch because that's just my comfort zone, and that is the way to do things the right way, and that's all there is. So, for her, as the mother and nurturer and the person that carried this child for 9 months, to send that child into the arms of another man is the most disgusting and outrageous thing I've ever heard in my life. So, no.
Or it better be like the most impressive person on the history of Earth that's gonna take care of everyone, but
Yeah, I just still
highly unlikely.
there would be never. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one, but still, obviously not this creep. So it is what it is.
Oh no, obviously not. I'm just saying, like, I want to normalize what's normal and clarify what's obviously not normal.
Of course. And I always said, looking at this photograph, you guys, way back when I first saw this one, that he did that on. That's Madeline in his glasses in that reflection. And to me, once again, creepiest of all creeps to do something like that. That tells its own little story to me. I'm just saying. So
That's what they do, though.
What'd you say there?
That's what they do. They like to be a little bit obvious.
Yeah. That is true. It's kind of that whole excitement for them, like it's right there in front of your face, but maybe not. Yeah, it's gross. Good night, James. Have a great night. Thank you so much for everything you do, sir.
Night,
And supporting the channel is like you do. I appreciate you so much. Paula, I agree. Maybe he wrote that poem to act like he was heartbroken and Jen did it. And he tried to save Maddie, but she died in his arms. And Jen convinced him they would blame him and talked. I mean, kind of a reach, Paula, but anything is possible at this point. It really is possible. It really is.
Well, I mean, the mother should have been more pronounced with her anguish. She should have written a poem. That would have been interesting.
He should have showed any emotion whatsoever. That would have been interesting.
But all her emotion was geared towards herself, like a narcissist.
Right. Yeah, Jen wouldn't write a poem. There's no way she would do that.
No.
That would take the attention away from her.
No. She was, I forget the word for it. Complicit, right?
Yeah.
Complicit.
Yes. Right. Thank you, Leslie, for the super chat. Appreciate it. And we love you too. Thank you very much.
These charges?
No.
The murder charge.
Oh, well,
Okay, so you got blindsided by that.
Yeah.
That's Stephen Stearns talking with his parents after he was charged with murdering Maddie Soto. The newly released call.
Oh, I forgot I did that. I knew that sounded crazy. Hold on. Let's try that again.
Expecting these charges?
No.
The murder charge.
Oh, well, you didn't.
Okay, so you got blindsided by that.
Yeah.
That's Stephen Stearns talking with his parents after he was charged with murdering Maddie Soto. The newly released call reveals what.
So he's saying he didn't expect to get the murder charge. Are you kidding me? That's bullshit. I don't believe that. He knew that was coming 100%.
He's a better poetry writer than he is a clairvoyant.
Oh, he's so dumb. Such an idiot.
What he told his parents about the alleged sexual abuse of Maddie.
We're at a loss for understanding how all this came about. I mean, we're just totally baffled.
Well, I didn't start it.
I also have other details on what police found during the investigation. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Stephen Stearns' trial for the murder of Maddie Soto is now set for September 2025. That's a long way away, nearly a year away.
Stearns faces the possibility of the death penalty if he's convicted of Maddie's murder. Before Stearns goes on trial for Maddie's murder, he will be tried for sex crimes involving Maddie. He faces 60 counts of sexual battery and possession of child pornography related to images that police said they found on Stearns' phone and Google Drive. Those images showed Stearns, according to investigators, sexually abusing Maddie, sometimes when she was asleep, sometimes when she was awake. That trial is scheduled for February of next year. Stearns has pleaded not guilty to all of these charges. Now we're learning more about what Stearns told his parents, Chris and Deborah Stearns, in the weeks after his arrest. Just to bring you up to speed, Maddie Soto was reported missing on February 26th of this year. Her mother, Jen Soto, reported her missing that night, with Stearns standing next to her after she went to pick up Maddie from school. Here's a look back at the body camera footage.
Hey there.
Hey there. What's going on?
So my daughter was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it. I went to pick her up from school.
I'm sorry, one second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Are we looking for another kid or we have a kid?
Looking for another one.
Good. All right, so people are still on the scene. Let's put that out in the hospital location. How long?
13.
I'm trying to get there right now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
So she was supposed to be dropped off at school, didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today,
Okay.
and she never came out. They announced it over the speaker, and I'm just like, maybe she walked here, because sometimes she'll walk here to this office.
Mm-hmm.
I came here, nothing. I went back to the school, they were closed. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Okay. What's her name?
Madeline, Madeline.
Madeline.
Maddie had celebrated her 13th birthday the night before with a party at her grandparents' home. This was at the end of February. Stearns hadn't been to Jen and Maddie's condo in Kissimmee since December. Stearns claimed he had dropped Maddie off at school that morning on February 26th.
She's got this phase that she's been into lately where she's very particular about what car she's seen getting out of in front of the school. She prefers her mom's car, but my cars are, I guess, kind of hoopties. I get it. It's an image thing. But that was sometime probably between 8:20 and 8:40-ish, somewhere in there. It was along this stretch of the road that on the right side that has all the communities on it.
Mm-hmm.
Before you get to the overpass. You could see the overpass from where it was.
Mm-hmm.
So it was on that side, on that stretch of road, and that's where I dropped her off. She said she was going to go wait for her friends. She was going to find them and hang out and wait for her friends. And I asked if that was going to be okay. She said, yeah, it's fine. Kids get dropped off early enough as it is. It's not totally unusual for that to happen. It's just not usually that early that I drop her off. I do school runs every once in a while for her. I said, okay. Let her out. Have a good day. Love you. Thanks. Love you too. And I turned around and was driving away and was watching her in my rearview mirror to make sure that she was going where she was supposed to go. And she was moving in that direction, but she was rummaging around in her backpack or something. What I assumed was probably headphones or something like that. But I find out later that she forgot her phone here, so she may have been rummaging for her phone. But she was still kind of making her way towards that direction, so it looked okay. Looked like any other day. And I just continued on.
Paul Berggren was the lawyer who could get you out of any sticky situation. Not selling pirated videos like Queen Latifah, caught stabbing your spouse 9 times with a steak knife? Better call Paul Plus. Kissimmee police and Orange County Sheriff's deputies scoured the area looking for Maddie, but detectives were suspicious of Stearns immediately. He couldn't remember certain details, and he just happened to factory reset his phone, by mistake, he said, after he claimed he dropped Maddie off at school. Stearns was arrested days after Maddie disappeared and charged with sexual battery.
Our detectives have determined that Madeline was never dropped off on the morning of February 26th near her school. Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time, and that Stephen Stearns moved her body in the early morning hours on that day. We have video evidence that shows Stephen Stearns discarding items in a dumpster in that apartment complex in Kissimmee at 7:35 on Monday, February 26. Detectives later recovered Madeline's backpack and her school-issued laptop from that dumpster. At 8:19, we have evidence that shows Stephen Stearns returning to the complex, and Madeline was visible in that vehicle. We believe she was already dead at that time.
Maddie's body was found on Friday, March 1st, in between two bamboo trees on a rural farm property, after police got a tip from a man who'd seen someone matching Stearns' description changing a flat tire the day that Maddie disappeared. On April 10th, detectives said Stephen Stearns called his father, Chris, and said, "You know that I would never have wanted that for her," meaning Madeline. Stephen then says, "I am not sure really that any one person is specifically responsible. It's probably a combination of factors that led to it. I have never felt anything like that before. It was horrible." Chris tells Stephen that he hopes the truth will come out, and Stephen responds, "Well, yeah," as if he was dodging the statement.
So that statement alone, where did it go? I'm not sure really that any one person is specifically responsible. It's probably a combination of factors that led to it.
I think it's just the coldness of that response that doesn't register with being concerned.
Keep in mind that this man was a Normal County
actual
father. So he's already
Hold on, Mom.
where he was a police officer at. So he's already getting the fact this is his son.
You turned into a robot, Mom. Say that again.
I said you have to take him. Is that better? Am I
Yeah, that's a
still
little bit
robot? Okay, so you got to take it to effect that Chris was a police officer. The cops down here see some ugly shit. They get numb to the shit. And from the beginning, and this is pretty damn close to the beginning, April. So you're right there around this. Within the first bill call, they were this Jen. Heather specifically was putting this on Jen.
Yeah, right. Interesting. The statement
Human
alone.
instinct and child. So I mean,
No, I get it. Stephen, that he hopes the truth will come out, and Stephen responds, "Well, yeah," as if he was dodging that statement. This call was downloaded and submitted. Okay, gotcha. Moving on.
Yeah.
Statement. Now to that newly released phone call. It took place on May 13th. The state attorney's office for Orange and Osceola counties just released it.
Okay, happy birthday, belated birthday, Mom, and happy belated Mother's Day.
Hi, sweetheart. I was so hoping to hear from you. I'm so glad I'm hearing from you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't able to call you all weekend. They had us on lockdown, so no one was able to do anything.
What's interesting about this call as you listen to it is Chris Stearns, Stephen's father, has told detectives before that he worked in law enforcement in the past. He talks with the detectives a lot and appears to offer a lot of information.
Were you expecting these charges? No. The murder charge?
Oh, well, you know you didn't.
Okay, so you got blindsided by that? Yeah. Obviously, it's not true. I never would have wanted her gone for any reason, so, premeditated first degree is kind of a dick punch.
So Stephen Stearns told his parents he wouldn't have wanted Maddie gone for any reason at all. The conversation then turned to Jen Soto and whether Stearns was cooperating with police or not.
No, I was wondering if you had any updates or anything. Nope, we haven't heard a thing. Just, speculation that she's been
hiding,
put in an institution and hiding in an institution.
At her lawyer's request.
I mean, are you cooperating with police about her participation in any of this stuff? there's been no opportunity for me to cooperate with anything. As I understand, the police keep saying that I'm uncooperative, but they haven't asked me anything to cooperate with, so whatever that means. So your attorney isn't approaching them and saying, my client would like to speak with you? Well, my attorneys are pretty much saying to keep my mouth shut until the trial starts.
Well, okay.
Okay. I don't know why they were going to wait till the trial, but that's their business, not mine. They don't want anything to hurt my chances. Yep, understand. Okay.
What? That's about the biggest bucket of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Like, what chances does this guy or does his attorney think he might have?
Well,
Here's my only thing. Go ahead, Mom. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
The devil's advocate here. That's their job. That's their job is to make him think, we're gonna get you off. It's gonna be fine.
I get it.
Don't talk to the police. Within the first 20 minutes of his interrogation interview, should I be talking to a lawyer? Well, you fucked your pooch right there, bub. You asked for a lawyer. They can't talk to you, dumbass.
Exactly. So, and the only way, guys, the only way that I think in hell's half acre that this man could get any form of a chance of getting out of this even somewhat would be if Jennifer did everything except for what is on film for him physically doing. Okay, but everything else, including the murder and all that, was all Jen. That is the only way this guy has a chance to get out of somewhat anything. Everybody still, all the photos on his phone, the CSAM, all of that, he's still going to be held accountable for that regardless. But everything else, that is the only other way that anybody could see it any different, is if by some crazy ass chance, Jen did everything, which I don't believe, but I'm just saying. That would be my only option in my mind that would make that happen. So,
Yeah. I think it's too enmeshed for it to be separate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely intertwined deeply. So, yes, I agree. Onward and upward. Clearly, they are cooperating with police.
Well, you guys have a good night. I'm going to bounce for real this time.
All right, Chick. Thank you again for your input. It's always very interesting.
No, you're welcome. Have a good night, everyone.
Right. You too. Phil says clearly they are cooperating with police. What a dumbass. You've lost your parents. There's another dick punch for you. Right, Phil. Thank you.
So at this point, it sounds like Stephen Stearns' parents believe that Jen Soto is involved and that Stearns has information about this. But I'll tell you about evidence police said they found from the day Maddie disappeared later on. Stearns then talked to his parents about his theory about why prosecutors might be going after him, charging him with first-degree murder. Keep in mind, before that, he was charged with more than 60 counts of sexual battery related to Maddie.
Well, obviously this confirms that they're artificially inflating everything up as high as they can possibly do it.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're trying to see what'll stick.
What the plan is there, if they're just trying to scare me into pleading down, or I don't know.
No, they're not.
Okay. They're just trying to hurt me as much as possible. Are you able to share the Saturday night before you left for Kissimmee? You were pretty upset about something. Did it have to do anything with Kissimmee and the events that took place the next couple of days? No. No, I was just stressed out about money and job and everything like that.
Some woman got on a YouTube thing and said that you weren't even at the party.
Party?
Yeah, her birthday party.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I went up there Sunday evening and got there after she was done at her party.
See, I think his parents thought way better of him, and they're finding these little things out left and right. I think they thought he was at the party, that happened, blah, 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 so on and so forth, all the bullshit that he's been feeding them. not to mention everything else. They're just completely dumbfounded to some extent, I think. I'll say that much. Because he's lied to him about everything his whole life.
Oh, okay. And we were very happy that I was there. We were very happy that
Maddie had that 13th birthday party, as I told you earlier, that Sunday night. Then she went to bed with Stephen Stearns, and sometime during the overnight hours, police believe Stearns murdered her and then acted as if he was taking her to school and drove around with her body in his car for hours.
Well, you know, the penalty for the crimes you have been charged with carry a minimum 40-year sentence. So obviously we're going to be gone. Rick will be gone. We'll all be gone. I mean, we're sad.
No, sir. Your son will be gone before you, I think, because I don't know if Florida has the front of the line thing like Texas does, but although his parents may not make it, he might sit on death row for 30 years and still. Either way, he ain't getting years, bro. He's going to the chair, buddy. Just so you know.
We're sad about that, obviously, because there won't be anybody here for you when you come out. Yeah, you know, and I'll be lucky if I have another 40 years left in me either, so. I mean, I guess that's everything sticks. I wish there was a way that, you know, you and I can have a conversation, all of us could have a conversation to understand what's taken place, how this came about, how you arrived here, because it would help us better understand the situation, because we're at a loss for understanding how all this came about. I mean, we're just totally baffled. Well, I didn't start it. Oh, you didn't start it, but you participated in it, which is just as bad as not starting it. But obviously, I can't get into specific details or anything. But you know, I mean, if you'd like to schedule a visit with me or something, maybe we can find some way to talk. I don't know. I think we're always going to be recorded, so there won't be an opportunity to do that.
Did you catch what Stearns said there? He said he didn't start it. And his father countered by telling him, you didn't start it, but you participated. It sounds as if Stearns is trying to blame someone else. And the only person he could really blame would be Maddie's mom, Jen Soto. Jen Soto has not been charged with any crimes related to Maddie's death, disappearance, or the alleged sexual abuse of her daughter. She has been questioned by law enforcement at length about allowing Maddie to sleep in the same bed as Stearns. On March 1st, police said they recovered surveillance video that showed Stephen Stearns moving Maddie Soto's body the morning he claimed he had taken her to school. The surveillance video came from a Holiday Inn vacation club. While reviewing the surveillance, Detective Jones observed that at approximately 9:40 hours, the target vehicle, a silver Lincoln MKZ, turned onto the above business property from Emissary Avenue, then proceeded to their parking garage. While in the parking garage, a male wearing a dark hat, red shirt, and tan pants exited the vehicle and opened the trunk. The male then walked to the front passenger side of the vehicle, opened the door, and proceeded to carry what appeared to be a limp body to the trunk of the vehicle. Now, I've told you many, many times that police found more than 1,700 images on Stephen Stearns' phone and Google Drive that showed him sexually abusing Maddie. Detectives said there were other images they found that showed Stearns heaping on one of Jen Soto's roommates. A detective wrote, I noticed Stephen had a folder on his phone's gallery labeled this woman's name, which contained over 90 images that were captured of an unaware female. Upon further examining these images, I identified the female in the images to be Stephen's roommate. The photographs/videos of this woman were captured in her bedroom and in a bathroom while she was nude, where she had an expectation of privacy, and they appeared to have been captured without her knowledge or consent. In addition, the images appeared to have been taken with a device that was concealed to the view of the roommate. Now, there's also been discussion about Maddie and Stearns texting about a coin, two sides of a coin. Detectives wrote, on 12/16/2023, at 00:47 hours, Madeline sends a text message to Stefan that contained a photograph of 2 coins. The coins had the inscription of New Parent Decision Coin and appeared to be from Amazon.com. The name is redacted, but it is Madeline, and it says she sends 2 follow-up texts to Stefan stating, "We need this, and get it for us, please." A search of Amazon for these coins revealed these coins are for new parents, where one can flip a coin to decide if it is the mother's or father's time to complete a task for a newborn. Due to the fact that this conversation was not near Father's Day or Mother's Day, it leads one to believe that Madeline and Stefan had possibly spoken about conceiving a child. Now, if this is true, it's a big wow moment. Maddie was a kid, and there has been speculation that she may have been pregnant since she had possibly missed her menstrual cycle that month. We still don't know if that's true, but her mother was questioned about it. Those coins look like this on the Amazon website. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.
Oh, that whole baby thing literally kills me, guys. Really does. It's a mess. I don't know. I don't know. Mom, let's see. 13. Okay, that's good to know. It won't be that long then. What do you think?
I think he's 110% guilty.
Oh, I mean that I know.
I think that Jennifer knew exactly what the hell was going on. And in my honest opinion, I believe the statement that he made. He didn't start it. I honestly believe that he was blaming it on Maddie, which is what these sick fucks do. It's a narcissist. That's part of their personality traits, is to not take accountability and put it onto someone else.
Sure.
And generally they're going to try to pick someone that's weaker than them or that they feel control over to place that blame on. And that's just how they work.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I do agree. Let's see.
And I think those coins absolutely make me sick to my stomach. And I want to just projectile it freaking, oh God, that's so sick. But this is what these groomers do. You know, you got to think that it's like the law of physics. Nothing can take constant battering without breaking. So what he was doing to her was constant battering, no matter how you look at it. And you're eventually going to break physically and mentally. That's what these groomers do.
Yes, ma'am. Oh my God. Every time we look at it, I get sicker and sicker. Let's see here. Okay, I have yet to find. Nope, there isn't one. I don't see any new updates on the missing child yet. Still nothing more. Also, let me check one more thing real quick for you guys before I do anything more there. Hold on. Sorry. Nope. One second. Sorry. Yeah, that was the other one little thing I was going to show you guys. I don't know if you saw it, but here's something else too. So this on Twitter states, oh shoot, wait a minute. Where the hell did it go? This is old. I remember this statement. During an interview on the day that her daughter's body was found, hold on. One more time. During an interview on the day that her daughter's body was found, Jennifer described Stephen as a master liar and told investigators he's been grooming and abusing my child. Those were her words. Now, what? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make up your mind, lady. Make up your mind. Anyway,
That was her trying to cover her ass.
That's exactly what I think it is too. That was the point I was trying to make. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it for tonight, guys. We've been here for almost 4 hours, which is more than enough time. We will be here tomorrow morning again for the morning show, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've got a few people asked me if I was gonna have a birthday show or whatever that is for myself. I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Is it your birthday?
My birthday's Saturday. But I have a whole bunch of stuff planned for Saturday. I don't know if I'll be able to make it in here. So that's why Hayden asked me to. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll be here for the morning show at least tomorrow for sure. And we'll see what goes on for tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. So thank you, Mom, for joining me. Always an honor and appreciated. Very much so.
Well, thank you for having me up.
Anytime,
I miss you when you're not here.
Yes, and so do I. Miss you. So
I miss all you guys.
Well, I very rarely aren't here, but in the evening sometimes I get busy and I can't come in here. And being that you work all day, we don't get to do it during your day, so
yeah, I know. That sucks.
It's all right. All right.
It sucks.
So, once again, I appreciate you very much. Very, very much. So thank you for joining me. Everybody in chat, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And being here this evening with us. It is so very much appreciated. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change a thing because you guys are the beautiful people, and I will see you guys so very soon. Have a great night, folks. Bye-bye.
Make good choices.
Always, always.
Metal frame. And I glued my frame to it. Me and Jenny did. And then I glued some bolts to it. And the mother made me let me clear.
It was on the screen, typing at the speed of light, hunting down the shadows, bringing wrongs to right, digging deep in the data facts, sharp as a knife. With every single story, he's fighting for a life. A voice for the voiceless. He won't stay quiet. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Streaming loud and clear, cracking cases, open hearts filled with fear. His channel's a beacon in a world gone wrong. He guides us through the chaos, a soldier so strong. The clicks and the lights, they follow his lead. With every new case, he plants a new seed. Sharing their stories, giving hope where it fades. Daniel's a warrior through the trials he waves. In a world of silence, he shouts out their names. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. From the shadows you rise, are streaming loud and clear. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkest.